Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, April 13th, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, Trump making news over the weekend and then was forced to address it today. You might even say a rare apology from Trump. Of course, that's not how he's pitching this. A rare retraction from Trump, not how it's being pitched, however. No, Trump depicting himself as Jesus in a post over the weekend forced President Trump to address some of the negative backlash to this today. So negative, in fact, he was forced to delete the post. Now, this is not the first time President Trump has had to erase a post because it didn't go over well. The excuse from this one, however, is different than the excuse from the first one. But it's not about what was posted. It's more about what Trump said in response to me that tells the story. Now, you can have an issue with what was posted, but when you listen to Trump's response, when you listen to Trump trying to explain it, you understand how bad things really are to me. To me, it was an admission of how bad things really are behind the scenes. And this whole act that they put on for the rest of the country, it's just not working. It's just not working. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at some of the responses. There's actually a little, it's hard to believe, but it's actually worse than we thought. The picture that Trump posted, it's actually worse than we thought. So we'll look at some of the responses, and then we'll look at, there was an edit. Who edited that photo before Trump posted it? So it's a whole new can of worms that most people aren't even aware of. Then we just got some stories. You know, LGBTQ plus is still very alive and well. And it looks like even the Trump administration is doing their part to keep it alive and well. What is the Trump administration doing for LGBTQ plus? We'll tell you all about that. And then the big stack today. Was Netanyahu able to avoid court again? Do you know how long Benjamin Netanyahu has been avoiding this trial? Do you have any idea? We'll tell you today. And then we'll explain why this situation in Iran is beneficial to Netanyahu directly. And then you got more news upon Israel's latest round of shelling in southern Lebanon. It's really quite obnoxious. They're bombing heritage sites. They've now killed at least 2,000 people. And so now there are protests around the world in response to this. There's protests in the streets. There's protests at the voting box. We've got examples of both of these things. And so in response to Israel becoming the least popular country on earth, in response to distaste, let's say, distaste, if not outright disdain for Israel being on the rise worldwide, Israel is pushing something today. It's the Holocaust remembrance. They want to remind you that, hey, remember, we're still the victims here. Sure, we've killed over 100,000 people in the last couple of years. Sure, we're bombing. We can't even count how many countries. Sure, we're blackmailing and twisting and manipulating your countries into our wars, and you're just bathing in the death and destruction and the blood that we lust over. But we are still the victims. Never forget the Holocaust. They want to remind you that today, which is ironic because, of course, the only country on earth behaving like the Nazis is Israel. And so other countries are addressing that head on. So we'll look at that. We got a stack of domestic news here. Nothing too consequential, but we'll get to the updates. And then the big battle against data centers continues. It's not getting much coverage, but in the local politics, it's getting a lot of attention.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Guys, what are you doing to diversify and protect your wealth? Do you have an answer to that question right now? You're probably thinking about it, or you have been thinking about it. How could you not, given the state of the economy, given the state of the dollar, bank runs, you name it, not to mention all the eyes on precious metals. So if you've been thinking about gold, if you've been thinking about silver, you need to give our friends a call at Allegiance Gold. Hey, the call is free, and they want to make sure that you are fully confident before you make a decision. That's part of their process, is making sure that you are fully informed and confident before you make a move. The call is free, 844-790-9191. That's my friends at Allegiance Gold, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. And at protectwithowen.com, or when you have them on the phone, ask about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right, $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They make it simple to move into precious metals. So give them a call, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. Why did I partner with Allegiance Gold? It's simple. They've got nearly 10,000 clients nationwide and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. It doesn't get any better than that. A-plus with the Better Business Bureau. When you're talking about your wealth, your savings, your future, you want to go with somebody you can trust. That's Allegiance Gold. So 844-790-9191 or protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys. All right. You know, sometimes having information can be a burden. It's true. Sometimes having information, sometimes having logic can be a burden. You know what? We'll address both of those things coming up. I guess you could call it the big story today. I don't know. It also kind of shows how Christians are just a little, and maybe it's a good thing, but they're tolerant. They're tolerant. They don't get too offended when people mock their faith or disparage it or depict themselves as Jesus. You know, Christians, they kind of let this stuff go. Not like other religions on this planet that wouldn't be so inclined to let this go. So information, logic, this stuff can be tough. But I'll tell you what, speaking of the logic, as we do have a large stack of war updates today, this is some of the logic, I suppose, because, hey, we're blocking the strait now. I'm trying to figure this one out. So the strait is open. The strait is open. And then Iran closes the strait because we started the war. So we start the war, they close the strait. We then say we have to continue the war to open the strait because, you know, we killed all their leaders, so regime change. Apparently that's what we wanted. Who knows? We wanted to eliminate their nuclear capabilities. We did that last year, apparently, but apparently not. So now we're doing it again. But now we need to keep the war going, and part of that reason is to open the strait. So in order to keep the war going and open the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump announces we are going to be closing the Strait of Hormuz. That's where we're at. That's the Trump war logic. So I can't figure it out. So maybe we should go here to the teachings of Don Tzu. Only Don Tzu can explain President Trump's logic when it comes to war.
2,500 years from now, ancient MAGA military texts are being studied by historians. One of them was written by the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces. This text is known as The Art of War by Don Tzu. Let's have a look at a few pages. If you do not know what you're doing, neither does your enemy. You cannot lose if you never had a plan. Always insult your allies before a war, so that when you need them, they ignore you. When the great general loses a battle, he declares the battle was fake news. Thus, he remains undefeated. If the enemy fights back, declare it unfair. If you're in the files, start a war. Do not take politics too seriously. The same applies to war. A strong leader never admits mistakes. He simply changes the narrative. And so, these are the teachings that have been passed on to the descendants of tomorrow. Follow to learn more about the wars fought during the era of the great diplomatic circus.
Yes, the diplomatic circus indeed. That's about what it feels like today. All right, so we're closing the straight to open the straight. I don't know. Good luck, guys. Good luck trying to figure that one out. And then you've got Trump over the weekend. He just can't help himself. Now, let me say this before we go into some of these responses, and then Trump offering an excuse, I guess you might say. Trump offering an excuse as to why he posted the photo depicting himself as Jesus. I think we have to just accept something here. And this is where the burden of being logical hurts when you're trying to understand this war or explain what's really going on. The burden of logic hurts there because there is no logic, at least no logic that anyone can interpret. But then there is the reality of Trump, where if you have the information, you can get closer to the reality versus the people that are just cheerleaders that don't really have the information. They don't really pay attention. So I want to go back to last year, at the end of last year. If you're with this show every day, you may recall at the time I made a bit of a fuss about it. Trump was asked by, I believe it was CBS. I can't recall who was doing the interview. I believe it was CBS, and you may recall they're at the White House, and Trump is asked about the Constitution, and he just kind of passes on it. He just balks. He doesn't say anything about it. He has nothing to say. He can't even really answer the question. And so if you remember that, and you remember the next day, I said, so this is your evidence that Trump does not romanticize the Constitution. He probably has a very loose grasp of it, if anything. But that was the moment. It was like, okay, Trump doesn't think about the Constitution. He doesn't romanticize the Constitution. And as far as, applying the Constitution to his policies, there's a very loose application, if any at all. But that was the big moment where it's like, hey, if you think President Trump is some Constitution beating patriot, that was your moment of realization. This guy doesn't give a damn about the Constitution. He doesn't even know anything about the Constitution. That's how he came off in that interview. Now, why do I put that in the background? Because now, after the excuse that Trump gives today, I don't know how you can reach any other conclusion except that Trump also doesn't romanticize Jesus Christ. He doesn't care about Jesus Christ. He doesn't care about Christianity, which, look, I think we have to remember, and it's fair to say, hey, I didn't elect Donald Trump because he was my moral compass, right? I didn't vote for Donald Trump 3 times because I needed a moral compass. I didn't vote for Donald Trump 3 times because I thought he was some bastion of Christianity. That was never the reason why I voted for Trump. I mean, I don't think too many people thought of that when they were going to vote for Trump. So it's not like there's some sort of a letdown here, but it just explains who he is. So it's like, hey, if you thought this was some sort of a big constitutionalist in the White House, okay, that was proven not to be the case. He showed he doesn't know the first thing or care about the Constitution. Definitely doesn't romance it. Then there's the excuse on the Jesus Christ, which is, okay, he does the image of depicting himself as the Pope. Well, okay, maybe that's a little funnier. And at the time, the atmosphere around the Pope at that time was a little different. The atmosphere around Trump was a little different. So, okay, maybe you get away with that one. It's kind of funny. Then he does the depiction of Jesus Christ. Now, there's a couple angles of this that make it even stranger. And you might say, why is this even a story? It actually is a very important story, and it has nothing to do with policy, obviously. It's about trying to get a grasp on where Trump's head is at, trying to get a grasp on where Trump is coming from in this second administration. And so that's why I bring up the Constitution. It's like, well, he's not coming from a point of he's romanticizing the Constitution. He's not coming from a point of he's an American patriot, Bill of Rights, Constitution, independence. Like he doesn't think about that. That's not a factor in Trump's daily decision-making process. So we already learned that. Now we hear about the Jesus thing. All right. So obviously it's a big screw up. Whatever. Nobody in there tells him not to do it, or maybe they do, and he ignores them. But he depicts himself as Jesus. Now, let's not fool ourselves. Everybody knew exactly what that was. When you were 3 years old, you probably would have known that was a depiction of Jesus Christ. So let's not play this game. So Trump is apparently stupider. What's the old TV show, actually? Are you dumber than a 5th grader? Trump is officially dumber than a 5th grader, if you believe this excuse. So now he's either lying again, or he really has no idea who Jesus Christ is. Which one do you guys think is more possible? Trump is lying to you, or Trump doesn't know who Jesus Christ is? So here's Trump today after erasing the post, explaining what happened.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depiction. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, "How did they come up with that?" It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. As an example, the 11,000. I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's going through some very serious cancer treatment. So
yes, sir.
This goes a long way.
Yes, sir. It sure.
So let's try to address multiple points of this story. First of all, okay, he's going to lean over to this woman and say, "Oh, your husband has cancer." Trump, you guys just let them pour glyphosates over our food again. So you're a liar. You don't take care of anybody. You're just an outright liar. You caused cancer. Trump maybe has caused more cancer than any other president. Trump, with Operation Warp Speed, you forced people to take a vaccine. I guess if you want to say Trump didn't force it, fine. But no, you lined up the dominoes to force people to take this vaccine. That caused a bunch of cancer. Cancer rates skyrocketed because of Operation Warp Speed. That's you. You did that, President Trump. And you're the one, your administration, that is allowing them to pour glyphosate on our food, on our crops, and your administration gave them immunity, a total broken promise, okay? So you're just an outright bold-faced liar is what you are. And I have to kind of, it's such a weird thing now dealing with President Trump, and this is where it's like the MAGA split has already happened, okay? So I don't think we're dealing with we're not dealing on the same playing field as we were. You might even say just a month ago. The MAGA split has been continuing for a year. It's a done deal now. There is no excusing President Trump anymore. There's just cheerleading and cucking. That's it. You're either in the Trump cult and you cheerlead and you cuck, or you're willing to call things as it is. Now, in fairness, so that you can get a full understanding here, there is an isolated group. There is an isolated group that is directly impacted by the decisions Trump has made, or they're hoping he's going to make, that causes them to remain loyal, or at least on the surface in the public, support Trump because they have something that they need. And it's not to sound negative or attack these people. I get it. You probably understand what I'm saying, but we'll just leave it at that. So I'm just sitting here watching Trump today, watching this, and I'm just thinking, how can anybody excuse this? How can anybody excuse what President Trump is doing? Now, Trump has already gotten in bed with Lindsey Graham, and they've excused that. Trump has already broken 100 promises, and they've excused that. So for the people that are in the business of excusing Trump, this doesn't change anything for them. They will continue to cuck. That's who they are. But imagine, how are you not insulted? Imagine how dumb Donald Trump thinks you are. This is how stupid Donald Trump thinks you are. You should be insulted by this. He says, this is depicting me as a doctor. What is he talking about? He says, and there's a Red Cross person in there. Well, I don't know. Where's the Red Cross person? I have no idea. I don't know what he's talking about with Red Cross, but okay. Seems like he's just making this up. That's me depicted as a doctor. Tell me, what doctor dresses like that ever? Show me one picture of a doctor in a red sash like that. No, that is famous for Jesus, a healing touch, the light in his hand. It's an outright bold-faced lie for Trump to say that that's him depicted as a doctor. This is ridiculous. This is an insult to everyone's intelligence. It's an insult to the country. It's an insult to the world. It's an insult to Christians. And if it's just you depicted as a doctor, President Trump, then why did you delete it? No, because you lied. You're an outright liar. So I just can't believe it. To me, this is like, folks, you just have to be honest. Trump is gone. He's not with us. He's not tethered to the people. He's not tethered to the truth. He doesn't care if he lies to you. He doesn't care if he poisons you. He doesn't care if he insults you. He's gone. He's completely gone. This is a sober man. This is a man who's sober. He's not, I don't believe he's suffering from mental problems. He's just a liar. It's so bold-faced, it's ridiculous. Let me just listen to the short clip one more time, just to really soak in how absurd these lies are.
Well, it wasn't depiction. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor.
I thought it was me as a doctor. Where? Show me one doctor that dresses like this. Show me one doctor that dresses like that. I will challenge anybody, and I will cut this segment. Show me one doctor ever dressed like that, Mr. President. That is ridiculous. You look like an ass. You're a liar. It's so ridiculous that you'd think anybody would believe that.
And had to do with Red Cross. There's a Red Cross worker there, which we support.
Which one's the Red Cross worker, guys? I'm sorry. Am I missing something here? This looks like a doctor or a nurse, a military person, Mark Levin, and then, I don't know, a praying Christian woman. Tell me, where's the Red Cross worker? What is he talking about? Is it something up here? And by the way, just since I'm on this image right here, whoever posted this with Trump added this demonic figure up here, by the way. In the original post, which was by Nick Adams, I'm understanding it. The original post was months ago by Nick Adams, and this demon creature was not here. It was actually all soldiers. Now, there's different rumors about where this demon creature comes from. They may be below in this post. I don't know. But they found some book. I know, guys, it's crazy, but this is what they discovered. This image, which appears to be a demon, actually comes from some book about a march to Israel. I'm dead serious. I know. I wouldn't be telling you this if it wasn't true, and it might be in the bottom here. I'll see if I can find it. But this is this demon creature is on the cover of some book about Israel. Dead serious. So they added that. That was not in the original post. Somebody added that, and then Trump posted it on Truth Social. So nobody knows where that came from. But Trump doesn't even know what's going on. He's telling you this is him as a doctor, and he didn't even know. And then he tells you he's curing cancer when he's helping cause cancer. So it's unbelievable lies from this guy. And I don't want to spend much more time on that. So let me just get it off the screen and move on. It's hard to determine what to do at this point with the administration, because to me, this moment, as mundane as it might seem, as trivial as it might seem, and maybe it is, but that doesn't mean it can't have a larger meaning. That doesn't mean it can't give us a better idea of what's going on. So, okay, maybe you're offended he mocked Christ. Maybe you don't care. They erased the video, obviously, because it was bad. Or they erased the post because they looked at it as a negative. So they're erasing posts. So that's not a good sign. So they know it was a mistake. That's why they erased it. And then Trump is going to say, oh, I thought that was me as a doctor. I mean, who believes this crap? Yes, that's Trump as a doctor. Oh, that's Trump as a clown, actually. Oh, I thought it was a clown. I mean, so what are we even talking about here? This does he think people still fall for it? I can't imagine somebody told him that was a good idea. It's like, I'm going to tell him that I thought it was a doctor. It's like, Mr. President, that's clearly Jesus Christ. Doctors don't dress like that. Please don't say that. You're going to dig a deeper hole. Don't care. Going to tell him it was a doctor. They don't know anyway. And then he says, I'm doing the most. I'm stopping cancer. Your administration approved glyphosates and immunity. And you were the proponent of Operation Warp Speed with the cancerous vaccines and Fauci that you gave an award to. So it's just disgusting. I don't even know how else to put it. Because I feel like if there was some sort of a struggle here with MAGA, I think it's over. I feel like if this is some tug of war with MAGA to get them back to reality, it's like Trump is already gone. All right, Trump is gone. He sold us out. He's out of his mind. He's a liar, whatever the case is. Okay, Trump gone. No, there's no tug of war with Trump. He already severed this rope. He's not interested. He's not tug of war with us. He's got his own thing. He's working with Netanyahu. He's working with the donor class. He's working with the special interests. Trump's already gone. So we've already cut the rope with Trump. That's a done deal. There's no tug of war with Trump anymore. He's gone. But then there's MAGA. Then there's the people. And this is the one I think that kind of hurts more, at least for me. Getting lied to by a politician, okay. Another corrupt politician, okay. All right, what's new? But it's the people. It's the people that we thought were better than that. It's the people we thought experienced some level of a heightened awareness, a heightened awakening, a heightened level to discern facts from fiction, truth from reality, to hold politicians to a higher standard, to keep them accountable for the things that they've said, things that they've done. And now it's like, okay, now it's like we're in this tug of war with MAGA. It's like, all right, cut the rope with Trump. That's not happening. Then it's the people. And it's like, hey, MAGA, like this guy's screwing us. This guy's screwing us over. Stop telling this guy he's doing a good job. Stop telling him that everything is going great. These are all lies. He's using you. He's destroying the country. Stop, MAGA. Stop letting him get away with this. Stop supporting this. MAGA, now you're hurting us. Now MAGA, now the people are hurting us. So that's where it's like, okay, we're in this tug of war with whatever's left of MAGA. And then I see a video like that, and I just say, you know what? If you can't figure it out at this point that there's something wrong with Trump, then there's no hope for you. And the difference here, I think, the difference between us and them, let's say, I don't think MAGA tunes into this show much more, unless they just want to hear news. because you're not going to get any news from a MAGA show other than Trump's nuts tasted like cookies and cream today. Yummy. Trump's boots had an extra smudge of mud on them from a rainy weekend. I had to clean that mud off of Trump's boots today. It's like, that's all you're going to get from MAGA. I don't see how you can see that video and not realize he's gone. For him to say that's him depicted as a doctor, I mean, guys, come on. It's like there's no more convincing I can do for you. If this is where you're at, if you are so far gone, if you are so brainwashed, MK Ultra, I don't know what it is. If you're so broken in your own eyes, in your own mind, in your own comprehension of things, that you're going to believe that Trump said, I thought that was me as a doctor, it's like, okay, now you're a lost cause. Now you're more of a lost cause than even the left. So there's this weird thing happening here. And I still believe that the debate is going to be had on the right. I don't think that's changed. I think this is still about, hey, the real political debate is happening inside of the right. And whether that's, people that like Trump, people that don't like Trump, or different issue-based debates, the real political debate is all happening inside of the right. There's not much going on between the right and the left. The left is kind of flailing. They're out of power. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do ahead of the midterms to become relevant again. And it looks like Trump just selling out his voter base is going to be all they need anyway. But I'm just sitting here looking at the people of MAGA, and I'm saying, okay, so there's nowhere for you to go. You're going to be on the Trump train, and there is no policy that you support. You just support whatever Trump says. There's no logic you support. Your logic is whatever Trump says. There's no facts that you support. Your facts are whatever Trump says. And there's no amount of lying that Trump can go to that will turn you off. You're just totally cucked. You're just totally committed. So he can lie to your face straight out, and you won't even blink. And to me, that's the moment of today. So now I'm looking at MAGA and I'm thinking, okay, there's a tug of war here of where are we going to land? And now I'm like, it's time to just cut the rope with them too. And like, do we go back into the tug of war with the left now and say, okay, here's the tug of war with the left. Where are we going to end up? Who's going to gain ground here? Who's going to get some ground? Where's some ground we both stand on? Where's some ground we need to fight over? Because with MAGA, with Trump, it's all a lost cause. If you're going to believe that Trump says that I thought that was a picture of me as a doctor, you're gone. You probably took 5 vaccines. Maybe you'll take 5 more. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You think Biden is sharp as a tack? It's the same difference. That is just outrageous. You're just outrageously gone at this point. So it's ironic that we sat here and we dealt with this from the left for probably at least 8 years, I'd say. And some people would say, well, the left lost their mind before that. No, with Trump, they went next level. They really lost their mind. They totally untethered from reality, and we all witnessed it. We all know what happened with the left. But now that's what's happening with MAGA. Now we're all witnessing MAGA lose their minds. Now we're all witnessing MAGA become the most brainwashed, lunatic fringe people in politics. And it's to the point now where it's not even close. I mean, let's just, here, if we can stick it to the issue, if you put that picture in front of a liberal and in front of a Trump supporter and said, this image of Trump, who is Trump depicting himself as? A liberal's going to say Jesus, and I guess a Trump supporter is going to say a doctor. Is that where we're at? Is that what you're going to do, MAGA? You're going to say that's a doctor? Yeah? Congratulations. Congratulations. You're now more brainwashed than the left. Congrats. Congrats. So this is kind of the response. Allie Beth Stuckey. You know, I really don't want to be mean on a Monday. I really don't. She says, I do believe that he didn't think of this as a depiction of Jesus when posting. So there's your answer. You are now dumber than a liberal. And you can see the comments all pointing and laughing at her. Because that's what it is. I mean, so here's the perfect example. Even Brian Krasenstein. So here it is. This is my example in the digital flesh. We're going to make up a new world. The digital flesh. All right, here's a Trump supporter shown this image. Okay, Allie Beth Stuckey, this image of Trump. He is depicting himself as what? Definitely not Jesus, a doctor. Allie, you're going to tell me this is Trump depicted as a doctor. Yes, that's Trump as a doctor. Okay, now let's go to the leftist. Brian Krasenstein, this image of Trump, is he depicting himself as a doctor or of Jesus? He's clearly depicting himself as Jesus there, Owen. Thank you, Brian Krasenstein. So do you see? Do you see? And by the way, here's the original image. These are soldiers. Here's the image Trump posted where they put demons where the soldiers were. Okay? I don't know if anybody knows about that. If Trump wants to claim ignorance on that, I might believe him. But somebody put a demon over his left shoulder. Somebody put that demon there. It wasn't there originally. It was just a soldier. Now it's a demon. Who did that? Who did that? Trump might have ignorance on that. Even the Krasensteins have a closer connection to truth and reality than MAGA now. How does that feel, MAGA? How does that feel, MAGA? The Krasensteins now have more honesty and are closer to reality than you are. The Krasensteins have more class than MAGA. The Krasensteins are more honest than MAGA. That's where you're at. That's where you're at. And so that's why I'm sitting here and I'm saying, okay, if I'm going to get into a political tug of war where we're fighting over ground and then deciding, okay, where do we go forward? There's no point in negotiating with this. There's no point. There is 0 point. And this is where we used to be at with the left. If you're going to sit here and tell me that this is Trump depicting himself as a doctor, and that's what he tried to do, you're such a liar. I'm done with you. What's the point in talking to you? You're just an outright liar. You're a clown. You don't even care about reality anymore. You'll lie to yourself. You'll lie to your mom. You'll lie to your kids. You'll lie to anybody if you're going to tell me that. So no point in talking to you. You're done. You're out. I can now talk to the Krasensteins, or I use them as an example. I can now sit here and have debates with the left and say, all right, where are we fighting for political ground here? Where are you guys going? Where are we going? Where do we need to have our political differences? And then where can we have something in common and maybe take a step forward? Because when I'm sitting here getting lied to and gaslit by MAGA, unlike anything I've ever seen since, the radical left a couple years ago, it's over. It's over. But yeah, guys, that's a doctor. I mean, come on. That's a doctor. That's Trump depicted as a doctor, and men can get pregnant and, whatever else. Whatever other craziness MAGA will believe in these days. So MAGA is more Looney Tunes than the radical left these days. Pretty amazing, but here we are. Kind of undeniable. All right, so what else? I don't know. Maybe Trump is leftist now. Maybe Trump is leftist. You guys remember when they were panicked? What did they say? They said Trump is going to bring in Project 2025 is what they said. And then, of course, Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham. No, they said Trump is going to bring in Project 2025. And then Trump actually brought in the WEF and the Bilderbergs and globalism and neocons. So, no, there was never a Project 2025. It's too bad, actually. The country'd be a lot better if there were. But, okay, Trump's gay now. Pride flag can fly at Stonewall after Trump administration reversal. Way to go, Trump, pro-LGBTQ plus flag. Trump is. He's gay. I guess he always was gay. He always had the rainbow Trump hats, so I guess nothing has changed here. The settlement ends a symbolic attack on the LGBTQ rights movement and deals a blow to the administration's assault on diversity initiatives. The federal government agreed on Monday that the rainbow pride flag could fly at the Stonewall National Monument in Manhattan, a rare instance of the Trump administration's backing down from its nationwide attack on diversity initiatives. No, they just make up a flag and they say it's gay, and then they force you to fly it or you're a homophobe. So sorry, that shouldn't be flying with this administration, but it is. So you've got gay flags now. They say you can fly gay flags wherever you want. That's what this is really about. This is really about the Trump administration telling any federal property you can fly the gay flag again. So that's good. Trump's gay now. Trump's really gay now. I mean, he was kind of gay before. Now he's like flamboyantly gay. He might, hey guys, hey. When is don't they have a gay pride month? When is the gay pride month? Is that June? Is June the gay month? Watch out for June. Hey, Trump might be flying that gay flag in June at the White House. What do we think here? Do we need to do some odds making here? I'd say there's a 20% chance Trump flies the gay flag during Pride Month. Actually, maybe gay sex isn't so bad, you know? It's not so bad. I didn't like Lindsey Graham before. I like him now. Can't say why. Not gonna tell you why. But you know what? That gay sex, maybe it's not so bad. I think we'll fly the gay flag now. In fact, I'm going to call Lindsey Graham. I'm going to say, Lindsey, come on down. Fly that flag, Lindsey. Let's see it. What do you think, 20%? 20% chance Trump flies the gay flag? And then he'll say, I thought it was an American flag. I didn't know. Just like I thought I was a doctor. I thought I was a doctor. It turns out it's not a doctor. I thought that was a American flag. Turns out it's a rainbow gay flag. I didn't know. Had no idea. Could have sworn it was USA. Is that coming next? Is that the deal? Look at these monsters in New York, by the way. Kathy Hochul is a monster. Look at this. Catholic nuns caring for dying patients fight New York trans rule, face jail time. So Kathy Hochul institutes these new fines where if you're doing healthcare, you have to include all the LGBTQ plus terminology. So you select your gender. This is an example. You go to a medical care facility. You fill out your paperwork. You have to have the option of being trans or, gay or a furry, whatever all the different distinctions are, which if you think about it is bigoted because the whole concept now, this is why they put the plus at the end, the LGBTQ plus. The whole concept now is that it's limitless. The whole concept now is that you can be anything. You can identify as whatever you want sexually. I don't want to get anybody. I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but I mean, you could find a way. Probably somebody could find a way to pleasure themselves with my blackout coffee mug, and they would call themselves a muggist. I don't know, a muggo, a homo mug. I don't know, and they'll find a way. They'll find a way. They'll always find a way. So really, it's a limitless thing. So to actually have a finite amount of sexual identities is actually bigoted by their own logic. All right, but logic aside. So Hochul says you have to include LGBTQ plus care into your facility. So if a man comes in with a dick and balls, he can say, I'm a woman. I need you to examine my vaginal canal. And the doctor can't say, sir, you have a penis and testicles. You don't have a vagina. That would be bigoted, and now you would be fined. So if you don't have all the LGBTQ stuff on your paperwork, if you don't have all the LGBTQ stuff in your facility as far as the practice, you can get fined and jailed, according to Kathy Hochul's new law. She's a total monster. So there's a facility out in New York run by Catholic nuns, and they don't charge any money, by the way. They do cancer care, dying, sick care, death care. They do all kinds of care, totally free. They don't charge anybody. They're just out of the goodness of their heart, these Catholic nuns. And now the city of New York is threatening to shut them down because they refuse to update their paperwork. They refuse to update the practice and the care that they provide. And so now they're being threatened to be shut down and sent to prison, Catholic nuns, because they don't believe that a man is a woman and they don't believe a man can get pregnant. And Kathy Hochul wants to shut down a cancer care and death care facility run for free by nuns because they don't believe in LGBTQ plus indoctrination. Wow. Kathy Hochul is an absolute monster, and she looks it too. And if this isn't, and this is what it's like, I love when these MAGA people will be like, but we defeated the alphabet mafia. Oh, you believe that? Wow, you really believe that, don't you? Shows you don't pay attention. So it goes right back to the issue we used to have with the left, now we have with MAGA. They are low information. So it's a burden to be informed. It's a burden to be logical when you're discussing politics. And it's the most painful in these discussions with MAGA now because they seem to be the most brainwashed and the least informed, and logic doesn't come into the equation at all. But that's just monstrous. I can't even believe we're dealing with this. We're not supposed to be dealing with this in 2026. It's like, here's what you get over the weekend. You get the Trump administration tells federal land, federal buildings, okay, you can fly a gay flag again. Kathy Hochul says, we're gonna shut down a cancer treatment facility, a death care facility run by nuns for free. We're going to shut it down, maybe fine, and maybe imprison these nuns for caring for people for free because they won't believe the LGBTQ plus propaganda. And just for a little kicker, too, just why not? You got a TPUSA reporter, Savannah Hernandez, out in the field this weekend, gets just brutally assaulted by a bunch of leftists in the street. So there's where you're at. You're over a year. You're over a year into Trump 2.0. You're over a year into this administration. LGBTQ plus propaganda okayed for federal buildings. Catholic nuns that run a cancer care and death care facility for free in New York about to go to jail. And conservative female reporters are getting attacked and assaulted in the streets trying to cover the illegal immigration facilities by radical leftists. That's where you're at in Trump 2.0. That's where you're at. And you're going to call that winning as he mocks your faith?
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Guys, you got to take advantage of this. I hope you did over the weekend with coupon code Owen. I don't know. We might be able to sneak one in before the end of the day. I don't know, guys. I'm not promising you that. This special ended this weekend. Okay, but I don't know. Maybe you can sneak one in before the end of the show. But the special ended this weekend. Patriot-Protect.com/Owen. What am I talking about? You got to protect your private information online. Period. You have to do it, folks. What do I use? I use Patriot-Protect.com/Owen. It's very simple. I've had to deal with this, unfortunately. I wouldn't wish it on you, and that's why I'm telling you about Patriot Protect. Your information. Tell you what, you want to do a test of this? It's a little nightmarish. But if you want to do a test, you want to see how serious this is, just go on to any search engine Google, whatever it is, type in your name, type in some private information that you assume isn't out there, and see how readily available it is to potential criminals, potential scammers. You might be surprised, folks. And you're thinking, well, what can I do? How do I get this off the internet? Well, you can go through an extremely painstaking process that may or may not be successful, or you can go to patriot-protect.com/Owen and hire Patriot Protect to do it for you. That's what I did. That's what I did. Not only do they get that private information off the internet for scammers and hackers and criminals to get access to it no longer, not only that, they run their protection mechanisms 24/7 in case it ever pops up again. And if or when it does, they're there to shut it down. That's what Patriot Protect can do for you. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. Now, again, they had a big offer, 72-hour special over the weekend. Not sure coupon code Owen is still going to work for that, but it can still get you 15% off. 15% off with coupon code Owen. Any of their plans, they have multiple different digital protection plans. Any of their plans, 15% off with coupon code Owen. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your house, protect your private information with patriotprotect.com/Owen. Coupon code Owen for 15% off any plan.
It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Man, I got to tell you, if you're not following, if you're on X and you're not following the account you got to get on there. It's so good. And I have no fear. I have no fear because I don't believe I've ever been a hypocrite politically. And if I have been, then feel free to call me out. I don't believe I'm at risk of getting called out by this you. But basically, it takes people that have said one thing today, and then it goes back and it finds they said the exact opposite a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. And the number one victim of this right now is MAGA. MAGA is the number one victim. And today, this you is going around finding all the people that are posting. It's all the hardcore MAGA people. It's all the brainwashed MAGA people, all the Zionists, all the Israeli firsters. And this you is going and here, let me pull it up since I'm talking about it. It's going and pulling up their old posts, and it's showing how they're just blatant hypocrites. I'm telling you, you got to follow this account because I love when hypocrites get exposed. There's nothing I love more than exposing frauds and hypocrites. So Allie Stuckey, we just played that video that she shared, showed her little excuse. Here she is from 2017. Using God as a political prop is blasphemy, dude. But when Trump does it, she's okay with it. No problem at all. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? And I don't want to get too personal here. And it's really not even personal. It'll come off as personal, but it's not. No, it's just to say that, like, most of these people that are in political media are just total phonies. I mean, just total phonies. And I think we have to start asking ourselves, how did they ever get a platform? How did they ever even get a platform? How did they ever even get a following? It seems like they're all astroturfed. And a perfect example has to be this Breland Hollyhand or whatever the guys, you guys know what I'm talking about, Breland Hollyhand. This has to be the most astroturfed person you've ever seen in right-wing politics. And it's like now they're not even trying. It's like they're not even trying for a real background story. They're not even trying for some character development, plot development. Like they don't even, it's like there's not even this moment of arrival. It's just like, hey, here's this guy. We're going to astroturf him. And now if you're on the right, you're going to have to deal with him all the time. And we're going to put him on all the platforms and all the stages and everything else. Just totally astroturf. So now that you get to see it with Hollyhand, and again, this isn't even personal. I don't know these people personally. I don't know Allie Stuckey personally. I don't know Hollyhand personally. They might be nice people. But politically, in the political world, these are totally astroturf people. And now that you actually get to see it in real time with Hollyhand, understand that that's what they've been doing to the right wing for decades. That's how most of these people that you're forced to consume in right-wing media got to where they're at. So I'm to the point now, it's like if you don't have an origin story, or you don't have like a character development, like I don't trust you anymore. You've just been totally astroturfed. And hey, let's just be honest. And this kind of leads us into our segment for the second hour. Let's just be honest, folks. Let's just tell it like it is. Why do we have this phenomenon? Do I have to say it? They want to present people on the right that are all loyal to Israel. That's what it is. So that's why most of the right-wing media that is astroturfed, that's why most of this right-wing establishment media is all pro-Israel, because that's how you get selected, and then you get to play that role. That's all it is you're playing a role. You didn't actually create anything. You didn't actually get there on merit or ability or talent or charisma. There was no moment of arrival. There was no, if you build it, they will come. It was, hey, pick this person, put them on that stage, tell them what to say, build them a following, and then make sure they stay on the pro-Israel side. And that's all it takes. That's it. And there you go. And there's Hollyhand. And of course, why do they have to do it right now with Hollyhand? Well, because their big guy that they anticipated would be their guy for the next 40, 50 years was Charlie Kirk. That was the big guy that they expect to lead the new right, to lead the younger right-wing generations, college kids, whatever. They anticipated that they'd have Charlie Kirk doing that for 40, 50 years. And then he went sideways on Israel. He started to kind of look at the whole Israel situation differently. And then he had a magic bullet not go through his neck. So then they bring in Hollyhand, and maybe he's supposed to fill some of that gap, some of that void. And then you just get to watch the whole process take place. Then you just get to watch the whole Astroturf force him into the right-wing media take place. So it's, you get to witness it. You get to actually see that happening now. But let's go into now the Israel situation. So this was, now let's start it with this. We're going to have to keep our eyes peeled for this, but I'm not even sure it's going to make a difference. I think they're going to do it no matter what. And it'll just become a matter of, will we have enough information out of the gates to stop this? The only thing I could maybe compare it to would be the COVID tyranny, where we were kind of able to get ahead of it. It's like, yeah, we got walloped by COVID. There's no doubt. But we really only got like 20, 30% of what we were supposed to get from COVID. I mean, they were supposed to force vaccine mandates. They really wanted to do the vaccine ID cards. That was supposed to happen, folks. Everybody listening to this, you were supposed to be forced to take multiple injections. And you were supposed to be forced to have some sort of an ID card connected to your vaccine status. This was part of the plan. We were able to stave that off. And then they wanted to turn that into some sort of a permanent operation in which anytime they wanted, they could flip on the switch and say, hey, shut down the economy, shut down entertainment, shut everything down, go wear a mask, take a vax, social distance, 2 weeks, slow the spread, whatever. They were supposed to cement all of that with COVID. And we kind of had enough information out of the gates to stop a lot of that. And then in that fight, in that moment, we were able to kind of turn it popularity-wise, and now that type of stuff is extremely unpopular. So even the people that were supporting it then, we won, now they're all against it, and then they won't be for it again. So we were kind of able to defeat the whole COVID tyranny that they were trying to bring out. They only got a small percentage of what they really wanted out of that. Okay, so now we look at the Israel thing. So again, it's like, it's not always going to be about COVID. It could have been about a bird flu. It could have been about any virus. But COVID was the originator. That was the genesis of the tyranny that they wanted to bring in as far as health is concerned. So now we get into speech. So right now the issue is Israel. Right now the issue is Jews. That's just right now. That's just the launch pad for digital tyranny. That's just the launch pad for internet censorship, and then speech crime is Israel and Jews. So this is just their launch pad. So it could be anything. It could be Muslims, Christians, whatever. Don't even think about it as far as, are you offending Jews or not? It's all about making sure that they can bring in this standard, bring in this tyranny, and then replace Israel, replace Jews, whatever it is, with whatever they want next, and say that's a speech crime, and now you need to go to jail, or you need to lose privileges, access, whatever it is. So we're all seeing this right now with the whole Israel issue, the whole anti-Semitism issue. But listen closely here. This is the Embassy of Israel in the United States of America. This is what they're telling you. Over the weekend, this is what they're telling you right here. This is the speech crime law that they are trying to roll out right here. And they're admitting the whole thing, and they're admitting that they're already doing it, folks. Listen to this.
target Jewish students, your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO. And corporations.
Now, obviously, you can't take this at face value because they'll claim anything is anti-Semitic. It doesn't even have to be. You don't even have to know this person is a Jewish individual. If you get into a scrap with them over, a girl or something at a party, if you get into a scrap with a Jewish person, you didn't even know they were Jewish, they're just going to claim you're anti-Semitic. So we know that whole thing is a false starter. We know that whole prerequisite for protected class is a total lie. That's just the force multiplier they use to say, wow, your speech is criminal. Wow, you're a bigot. So that's the whole reason why they make this about Israel or about Jews. That's their force multiplier. That's their, wow, that's so offensive that you just have to be punished. And we all agree that that's just drawing a line. So, but what did she just say? We're monitoring and SEO is search engine optimization. So she says Google. Anytime you search online and you plug something into a search engine, that's search engine optimization. So it doesn't matter where you're at. It could be on Google. It could be on Facebook. It could be on X. It could be on one of these alternative sites. She just said it right there. They're already tracking and tracing all of your search inquiries, all of your internet activity, and they're putting you on a list, and they're giving you a digital score based off how you treat Israel. Let's just call it as it is. That's what they're doing. There is an operation right now. You are part of it. There is an operation right now monitoring your social activity online and probably in person too, by the way, because they're probably recording you with this. So probably everything you say is being recorded with this. The only shortcoming they have right now is that they don't have the data centers. That's the only shortcoming they have. Why do you think they're building the data centers, folks? Why do you think they are in such a rush to build the data centers? I don't want to get too off on a rail here, but let's just be honest. These Israelis are so paranoid. I mean, we are dealing with true paranoid schizophrenics that are stuck in this victim mentality. They're stuck in this trauma-based mind control that there's another Holocaust lurking around every corner and that every white person walking down the street is the next Hitler. This is how they live. This is how they want these Jews to live. This is why they do the trauma-based mind control, so that they can force them into this mindset, and then they become the protagonists to bring in online censorship, to bring in the digital censorship social credit score. So she just told you the plan. She just told you, we are monitoring everything you do online, and if you say anything negative towards a Jewish person or you say anything bad about Israel, we're putting you on a list and you will be set for destruction. They're admitting it. They're not even hiding it. This is at the embassy in Washington,
where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas. We pressured CEOs. Some resigned. Many were terminated. But
all of this used to be considered free speech, by the way. This all used to be considered free speech. Not anymore. Speech critical of Israel or speech that is not considered favorable of Jews is now no longer considered free speech. It's now considered hate speech or criminal speech that they are trying to put you onto a permanent digital record of punishment for.
Policies were changed, thankfully, from governmental to art institutions. Online, where anonymous accounts spread violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States.
So let's talk about the actual applied standard here, the actual applied practice here. So if a group of Israelis come to your neighborhood and they blow up most of your community, kill 50% of the people that live there, and then they show up at the houses of the people that are still alive and they say, we're taking this too, and then they firebomb you out of this house and force you to leave, If you survive that process and then you step up and say, hey, these Israelis just committed war crimes against me. These Israelis just invaded my land and killed my people. These Israelis are aggressive terrorists. You're going to jail. So you see, that's the backdrop here. Just like with COVID, it was all about bringing in the idea of a one world government health tyranny system. This is about eliminating free speech and giving a group of people carte blanche to just rape, murder, and steal, and then you can't say anything about it or you'll be considered a criminal. That's what this is all about. So there's a reason why all of this is happening in the name of Israel. Because they're the groups they're just the groups that they're using to do this right now. Now, you can go, people will say, well, the Jews are behind this. Whether you believe that or not doesn't matter. In this moment, this is how they're instituting these policies. In this moment, this is how they're bringing in the digital censorship and the digital social credit score. So you're going to sit here and watch Israel commit the most heinous war crimes you've ever seen in your life. You're going to sit here and watch Israel bathe in the blood of the innocent, celebrating it, begging for more. And then anybody that doesn't like that, and anybody that stands out against that, anybody that speaks out against that, you're going to be called an anti-Semite. You're going to be fired from your job. You're going to be debanked. You're going to be deplatformed. You're going to have everything ruined, and they're going to call you an anti-Semite. This is the idea. So they want to be able to literally rape, murder, and steal from you, and then muzzle you so that you can't say anything in response, or you're going to go to jail. That's the practice that's being forced upon us right now. This is the big practice. Now, again, let's say 10 years down the road, it's no longer the Israeli flag. It's no longer the Star of David. Let's say it's the World Economic Forum. Let's say it's the Davos Group. Let's say it's the UN. It could be anybody. And they'll just say, hey, you don't like the UN because the leader is Indian. Or you don't like the World Economic Forum because the leader is Jewish. Or you don't like this group because it's Asian. They'll find all of these different concoctions, and they'll do the exact same thing they're doing to you right now with Israel and anti-Semitism. So they're just using Israel as the process right now. They're just using Israel as the application for this right now. It could be used anyway in the future if they're successful here. But if you're wondering, how can it be so aggressive? Why would they be so over the top in their aggression militarily, and then in their aggression to silence people that speak about it? It's because this is all a test. It's all a test. And they want to put you in such fear, just like they did with COVID. They want to put you in such fear that you're afraid to say anything. They want to put you so scared of saying, God forbid you say anything negative about Israel. God forbid you do any commentary on what Israel is doing in the Middle East right now. They want you to be so scared to speak out that you just shut up, and then they can get away with all of it. That's the idea. This is the test case, just like with COVID. Oh, it's COVID now. Then it's a bird flu. Then it's this flu. Then it's that virus. They got away with it with COVID. Then they do it with anything else. Same thing. It's Israel this time. Then the next thing, it's the UN. It's Davos. It's Bilderberg. It's whoever. If they can get away with it with Israel, they'll get away with it anywhere else. So if you're wondering why it's so over the top, if you're wondering why it's so in your face, why it's so aggressive, is because this is the test. They're intentionally showing you how evil Israel is, and then they're intentionally telling you you're not allowed to talk about it. This is all being done intentionally. All in your face, shoving it in your face, hoping they can get away with it and set the precedent now, and then you're just aghast at how aggressive it all was, that now you're afraid because you don't want to go to jail. And they brag about it. They brag about how they put people in jail. So they brag over there, they just killed 100,000 people. Then they brag over here about how they put the rest of them in prison. This is happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is all happening right now. I want to move on for the sake of time and get into the actual war news that you're not allowed to be critical. China-bound tanker turns back at Hormuz amid U.S. blockade. Beijing warns, do not interfere in our affairs. One of the vessels, Rich Starry, that was the name of the ship, which had listed its destination as China, reportedly reversed course within minutes of the blockade taking effect. Data from marine traffic showed. So America is now blocking the Strait of Hormuz after they complained about the Strait of Hormuz being blocked. Now we're blocking it. They say at least 2 oil tankers have been blocked by this of Chinese intent to get oil. So what is the deal, man? So are we trying to get China pissed off? Are we trying to get into a war with China now too? It's insane. It's insane. But don't worry, Netanyahu is, he's benefiting. Trump is making sure Netanyahu is benefiting from all of this. Not you, but Netanyahu. Netanyahu criminal trial will resume after Iran ceasefire, but he wants to delay testimony. Now, you may remember that headline. That was from Friday. Okay. He was supposed to be in court today. So how do you think it went, guys? Do you think Netanyahu had to go to court today? No. Shin Bet chief said to tell court prime minister can't testify at trial because Iran might be trying to kill him. So Bibi starts wars all over the planet and then says, oh, I can't go to trial. I'm at war. By the way, he's been wanted in court since 2019. And then October 7th happened, and now he's got a war. Isn't it perfect? So he stands down on October 7th, starts a war, drags the United States into it, and now he avoids justice by killing hundreds of thousands of people. Really, really evil work there, actually. Absolute monstrous work there by Netanyahu. But what do you expect? And that's who Trump works for and with now, too, for what it's worth. Netanyahu corruption trial testimony delayed due to security and political reasons. Isn't that nice? Yeah, I'm sorry, but we just can't go to trial. Netanyahu's too busy killing people, don't you know? Netanyahu's too busy starting wars in 9 countries and dragging America into it, dragging the rest of the world into it too, don't you know? So I guess some people are above the law. So no, Bibi Netanyahu not going to court. So the war will continue until Epstein is no longer talked about. The war will continue until Netanyahu is no longer wanted in court. Well, this is get ready for Turkey. As we told you, Turkey was next. We had that one first. Now everybody's catching up, including Turkey itself and Erdogan. They released this over the weekend regarding social media post by Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. This is the official Turkey Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Netanyahu, who has been described as the Hitler of our time due to the crimes he has committed, is a well-known figure with a clear track record. So it goes on explaining why Netanyahu is the closest thing we've ever seen to Hitler, which I agree with. And then, of course, Netanyahu threatening to attack Turkey, Netanyahu threatening to attack Spain. This is only going to get worse. So as Israel continues to isolate itself from the good people of the world, as Israel continues to isolate itself from the people that don't love death and destruction, as Israel continues to separate itself from God-fearing, God-loving, life-loving people that don't want to see nothing but death and destruction for the rest of time, the pressure mounts on Israel, and now all they have left is us. All they have left is you and me. All they have left is the United States of America, and now Trump works for them. So, unfortunately, it looks like we're in a situation, unless Trump is going to do one final bait and switch, unless Trump is going to do the biggest rug pull of all on Netanyahu, it looks like now the agreement is that, okay, America will sacrifice whatever is necessary to save Bibi Netanyahu. It's not even about Israel necessarily anymore. It's all about Netanyahu now. Because at this point, it's not even, the war is losing popularity in Israel. At this point, the Israeli people are sick of the war. So now it's not even about Israel. I mean, we've been watching Israel get blasted by Iran for the last month. That didn't stop anything. So clearly this isn't even about Israel. This is all about Netanyahu. This is all about the Epstein class, the Epstein blackmail, and Netanyahu, and however Trump became so compromised by this. That's what this whole thing is about now. And if you dare talk like this, we'll see you in jail. So, that's what you get. But we got more on the situation as far as the international community is concerned with Israel and Netanyahu. Let's look at a couple things first. So you may recognize this meme. So Israel, the official X account, posted this. It's got a picture of a guy with an Israel flag asking Lebanon for peace. And then Hezbollah says she's not interested. So obviously, first of all, that isn't even accurate. Israel doesn't want peace with anybody. Israel will claim they want peace, and then they'll murder you. Israel will claim it wants peace and then bomb you for a month straight. So that's just obviously a lie. But so they put that out on their official account. Now anybody knows they've stolen this because this is the original meme. It's a man with an Iranian flag and then an American saying, hey, can I get a ceasefire? America says, sure. And then the fat, ugly libtard steps in and says, she's not interested. So everybody knows they stole that. So Israel is literally stealing memes that are meant to show how Israel is evil, that is meant to show how Israel is causing all of these wars, and then they steal it and act like they're the ones not causing the war. It's unreal levels of gaslighting. So now they've killed over 2,000 in Lebanon. Israel has killed more than 2,000 people in Lebanon. They're killing women, children, innocent people. They're blowing up Christian sites. They're blowing up Christian churches. They're blowing up World Heritage sites. The wanton destruction by Israel is beyond any evil you've ever witnessed since you weren't alive for the Nazis. So you are witnessing the greatest evil in the history of the 21st century in Israel. And this is their little press girl. I don't know what it is about her. She just is so cringe. She's she doesn't even seem like a real person. I feel like she might be a robot or even AI. She's just, there's something about the way she talks that just is so, I don't even know how to say it. It's beyond cringe. It's 1984 level propaganda. So what are they going to do now that the whole world is watching Israel just destroy Lebanon? Now that the whole world realizes that the ultimate evil on this planet is Israel, and Lebanon is just their latest example. So now they have to find a new messaging on why they're bombing Lebanon. So listen to how they phrase it. This is the official spokesperson for Israel here.
Prime Minister Netanyahu visited our heroic soldiers in southern Lebanon just yesterday within the security zone. Our forces are pushing Hezbollah away from the border and dealing with the terrorist villages that are adjacent to us on our northern border, while also defending are adjacent to us on the terrorist villages, 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 the terrorist villages that are adjacent to us on our northern border, while also defending our border at all times. Prime Minister Netanyahu.
The terrorist villages, guys. The terrorist villages. Those villages just existing were terrorists. Those villages, they're just, it's so unbelievable. And, I understand why people get so emotional. I understand why people get so upset covering this, because these are the most evil people. Folks, you're witnessing the most evil people in the history of your life. Terrorist villages. Do you understand? I can't even believe we have to have this conversation today. But this is where we're at. You understand? Israel has killed probably close to 200,000 people in 9 different countries in the last 2-3 years, many of which are just totally innocent people. Women, children, they do not care. I don't know what it is. I don't know how else to describe it except complete and total evil. I don't know how else to describe it other than complete and total demonic activity. I don't know. There is no other way to describe these people. And anybody that supports it, I don't know how else to describe you at this point. We have sat here for years now. And we have watched Israel stand down on October 7th, and we have watched Israel since unleash the greatest wave of unmatched death, destruction, and evil of innocent people and other countries than we've ever witnessed in our entire life. There's never been anything like it. And now that the whole world is able to watch and catch up to how evil these people are that work for Netanyahu, including our own politicians, now, including our own people in the media, by the way, now that we see how evil this whole group is, we're just standing here with our jaw on the floor like, oh my gosh, this is the personification of demonic activity. This is the personification of outright and total evil. And they don't even blink. They say, all right, well, we've killed a couple thousand innocent people in Lebanon now. We're just doing it because we want to take the land. We're killing a bunch of Christians. We're blowing up a bunch of Christian churches and sites. We're killing priests. We're killing women. We're killing children. We're pretty much just killing anybody we want. We really don't even care. We don't even feel any remorse. So how can we fix this? No. We can't stop doing it. No. We're never going to stop doing it. I know. Let's call the villages terrorist. It's like that's their abracadabra. Is they think, oh, we'll just say terrorist. And then, well, okay. Like here comes the IDF. You're just minding your own business. And they're like, your home is ours now. Your wife is ours now. And your kids are our slaves now. And you're standing on your front porch of the house that you built with your own two hands. And you're like, actually, no. And they say, oh, really, terrorist? Oh, really, terrorist? Oh, I'm a terrorist? Oh, I'm sorry, Israel. You called me a terrorist? Please, just take my house, take my land, take my family, take my kids. Just kill us all, actually, because we're terrorists. You just said we're terrorists. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And so what's so frustrating is we just went through in this country, in the United States of America, we just went through this process of watching the most evil that we have in our political system get to the top of the system. We watched people that celebrate abortion. We watched people that chop up children. We watched people that open the borders. We watched people that put criminals back on the streets. We just sat here and watched the most evil people run roughshod in our country, our people, our politicians. We just watched them take control of the country and run roughshod over our country for 4 straight years. We watched that. And then we thought, okay, we're going to elect Trump and we're going to properly deal with this evil now. Instead, we're not dealing with that evil at all. Instead, we're investing in maybe the one place on earth that's more evil. We're investing in the one place on earth that acts more evil than the American left did for the last 4 years, and that's Israel. And so instead of sitting here saying, we're going to deal with this evil faction in our country, instead, the Trump administration said, never mind, we're actually going to go over here and we're going to find something more evil. Yeah, we're going to hitch this ride onto the biggest evil on the planet right now. So not only are we not eliminating the evil that we all just saw, we're actually going to go more evil. How do you like that, terrorist? How do you like that, anti-Semite? And then they sit here and they brag about how if you don't support this, they're going to come after you based off of your search engine inquiries and put you in jail. And they're making an example out of this all over the world, by the way. So, yeah, it's a bit of a bait and switch. It's a bit of a rug pull. We thought we were going to get rid of the evil in our country. Instead, we didn't do anything about the evil in our country. And now we're going to hitch our wagon to the only place that might have more evil, and that's Israel. And then they just say, yeah, well, so we just got caught killing a bunch of Christians for no reason. They were a terrorist village. Abracadabra, we just killed innocent people. Abracadabra, we're Israel. Abracadabra, terrorist. Oh, okay, it's okay now. Unbelievable. And apparently Google is going along for the ride. Google Maps and Apple Maps, I guess. Or I guess it's Apple that's been accused of this. So Apple Maps just erased all of southern Lebanon. Okay. So this was southern Lebanon on Apple Maps. This is now southern Lebanon. Or is this? Okay, this is Google and this is Apple. So, yeah, so this is southern Lebanon on Google Maps. You can see they've got all the different infrastructure, all the different cities, everything else. And then on Apple Maps, they have nothing. Now, what's up with that? I don't know. Now, Apple is claiming that they did not edit these maps and that they've always been that way. But other people are claiming no, because they went back in time and they found that these maps of southern Lebanon did exist. And for some reason, Apple deleted them. So I don't know what's going on. But whether Apple Maps is deleting southern Lebanon or not, Israel is. Israel is. And they're never going to stop because nobody's stopping them. And now they've bombed another World Heritage Site in Lebanon's Tyre, ancient site threatened by Israeli bombs. An archaeological site in southern Lebanon's Tyre. Small signs bearing a blue and white emblem provide a symbolic shield meant to protect the ancient ruins from bombardment. One of the oldest cities on the Mediterranean coast, Tyre, is located about 12 miles from the Israeli border and has been the target of several strikes since Lebanon was drawn into the Middle East war by Hezbollah's March 2nd rocket attacks on Israel. So just more lies. But you have to understand the mindset here. So don't, this is not going to end, folks. Israel is going to continue to kill Christians and children and women and everybody and bomb World Heritage Sites and everything else. It's not going to stop. Nobody's stopping them. And as long as Trump and Netanyahu are threatening to hit you with a nuclear weapon if you try, it's unlikely anybody will. So you have to understand the mindset. Why is Israel the only country on earth that does not care about World Heritage Sites? Why is the Israeli military the only military that will blow up Christian heritage sites, Muslim heritage sites, all these different World Heritage Sites? Israel is the only military that will do that. Why? Why? You have to understand the why. Because according to these Israelis, and for this conversation, maybe it might be more accurate to say these Jews, these Israeli Jews, these American Jews, not all Jews agree with this, by the way, but to them, there is no other heritage. To the Jewish supremacist, there is no other heritage. There is no Christian heritage. There is no Muslim heritage. There is no world heritage. There's only Jewish heritage. They're God's chosen people. They're the only real people here. Everything else is a slave. Every other existence on this planet that isn't Jewish is a slave to them in their religious extremism. So they don't care if they're bombing Christian churches. They don't care if they're bombing heritage sites. There is no other heritage. There is no world heritage. There's only Jewish heritage, and then everything else is secondary. Everything else is second class. Everything else is slave class. That's their mindset. This is how they teach themselves. This is who they want serving in their military. So that's why when it's not going to be the first time. So the next time you see some beautiful museum, some beautiful World Heritage Site, some beautiful church, and Israel just wipes it off the map, and you say, why would they do that? Why would Israel bomb a 2,000-year-old city? Why would Israel bomb a 300-year-old church? Why would Israel blow up children? Because these mean nothing to them. These mean nothing to them. Read the Old Testament. They don't care. If it's not Jewish, if it's not God's chosen people, if it's not God saying protect them, then they'll blow it all up. They'll kill it all. They don't care. That's the mindset here. That's why you're seeing this. And again, most of the world is seeing this now, by the way. I've got proof of that coming up. But you know what's funny? Because I'm trying to think. If you go throughout, let's just say like the last 10 years, really, it's always, the media landscape is moving. It's always moving. And there are always things that are the most dangerous topic to talk about. Whether that's like you're putting your own life in danger or your reputation, the status of your company. I mean, you look at all the different risk factors. Sometimes it used to be support of Trump. Sometimes it used to be calling out a stolen election. Sometimes it used to be standing up against, the COVID vaccines, the masks, whatever. There's always something that's the most dangerous thing to talk about in a moment. This is by far and beyond the most dangerous thing you can talk about right now. Clearly. So I understand why people don't want to talk about it. I understand why they avoid it. It's a survival mechanism. It's a survival instinct. But what I've noticed is eventually these things that are so dangerous to talk about, so taboo, nobody wants to touch it, eventually they become so mainstream that eventually they just get accepted. Notice how everything I talked about, these are the most dangerous things. For as long as you've been listening to Owen Schroyer on the air, these are the most dangerous things, right? It's, okay, supporting Trump, calling out the radical lefties, all the stuff they engage in, calling out the vaccines, calling out the COVID scam. These are the most dangerous things. But now look at it. Now Trump support is mainstream. Now accepting all the COVID scams, mainstream. So it's always dangerous in that moment. It's always dangerous in the beginning and then in the big moment. And then a year, 2, 3 down the road, it all becomes accepted. It all becomes mainstream. And people say, yep, that was the truth. So I feel like we're getting there on this issue. And maybe there's some proof when you look around the world. Japan's protests against the Iran war are escalating. Over the weekend, they had tens of thousands in the streets. I'll tell you what it was really about, because these headlines are not really accurate. Tokyo rally protests arms export plans, so that support of Israel in all their wars. 30,000 rally near Diet. I'm going to assume that's Diet, as protests against Constitution revision gain traction across Japan. So again, all of these headlines are a little misleading. So here's what's actually going on. Here's why there's tens of thousands of people protesting in Japan all the time now. They had a president, or their prime minister now, the lady's name, Ninaski, whatever it is. I'm not intentionally mispronouncing it. I forget what it is. She ran on a platform very similar to Donald Trump, very nationalist, secure borders, no more foreign conflicts, no more foreign aid, which was already kind of popular in Japan, but it was never really packaged as a political message. So she runs on this message. She runs in a very Trumpian campaign, and she wins. And then once she gets in, she did us just like Trump did. She's letting more immigrants in, she's letting more illegals in, and she's getting Japan involved in the wars in the Middle East. So it's not only against what she ran on, just like Trump screwed us over, now it's pissing off all of the Japanese people that are way less accustomed to their politicians doing this than ours are. So now they're all pissed. This woman's barely been in office, and they're all pissed because she lied, and she's getting Japan involved in the Middle East, and she's opening Japan's borders. Exactly the two things she promised she wouldn't do. So just like Trump did us. So now that's why you have protests in Japan every night. But you know what? You should probably discount everything that I've said, guys, because at the end of the day, there's only one thing that matters, and there's only one thing that should drive every thought you have, everything you say, every concept that may crawl into your head or you may consider. There's really only one thing that matters, guys. And it's being reminded to you today from the IDF. Today, we remember the 6 million Jews murdered in the Holocaust, a reminder of why we operate. Never again. Now, of course, the irony being that they're the only ones that are behaving like that. So never again, except they can do it. So nobody else is allowed to behave like the Nazis except Israel now. That's the message. So they want to remind you, as Israel's popularity is the lowest it's ever been in the history of the world or of Israel or of popularity or of polling, they want to remind you that they're still the biggest victims. They want to remind you, hey, don't forget about the Holocaust. You guys did this to us, so we can do whatever the hell we want now. So they bash you over the head with it. And, oh, they're opening up more Holocaust museums here too, by the way, which is like, why? The Americans are the ones that fought against the Nazis. The Russians are the ones that defeated the Nazis. Why are we bashed over the head with the Holocaust? Why does American history and culture and geopolitics get bashed over the head with the Holocaust, the thing that our ancestors fought and died to stop? And now we're going to get guilt bashed over the head with the Holocaust? It's outrageous. But they had a couple of Holocaust events in America this weekend. They opened some new museums too, because you don't get enough of it. You don't get enough of that. Saved to tell the story. Holocaust survivors share memories at Atlanta remembrance ceremony. So in Atlanta, they had a big Holocaust ceremony reminding you that no matter what, especially you blacks out there, that Jews are still bigger victims than you. Just a reminder, in this victim economy, in this trauma-based mind control economy, that Jews are still bigger victims than you blacks. So don't get too uppity. Don't get too uppity, you blacks. Jews are bigger victims. They get more than you. Just remember that. They're above you. You guys, you can be in the victim economy, second-class citizens. And the Holocaust survivors. It's like, because here's the problem. You don't want to sound, it's like you don't want to sound rude. You don't want to sound callous. It's like, okay, that's kind of how they bully you. I'm sick of it, man. I'm not going to sit here and get bashed over the head, get guilt tripped over the head in this victim economy by the Holocaust. I'm sick of it. My ancestors fought to defeat the Nazis. Leave me alone. I don't need to hear about this crap. Go build a Holocaust museum somewhere else. I'm sick of this crap. Go build a Holocaust museum in Palestine. See how they feel about it. Go build a Holocaust museum in southern Lebanon. Go build a Holocaust museum in Syria, in Libya, in Jordan. See how they feel about it. No. Just as Israel's losing popularity, they're going to remind you about the Holocaust because you forgot. You need to remember that. Now that the whole world is watching Israel behave like the Nazis, they want to remind you about the Holocaust. I swear, it's going to be like, so they got a Holocaust survivor. There can't be many left. I don't even want to get into these conspiracies. The 6 million number, the number of Holocaust survivors, but they've been changing these numbers all the time. Somehow the Holocaust survivor number has actually gone up. I don't know how that happens. So somehow people have risen from the dead. So now there's more Holocaust survivors now than there used to be. I swear, it's going to be the year 2050. It's going to be the year 2050, and they're going to be parading around Holocaust survivors. You're going to be like, what? They'll be like 50, 60 years old, too. It won't even matter. They're just going to say, hey, bring out the Holocaust survivors. They parade some people around. It's like, well, the Holocaust survivors, it's over 100 years ago. What? Huh? These people will be like, 60, 70 years old. They'll say, oh, look at it. We got 20,000 Holocaust survivors gathered here today. Remember, it happened 120 years ago. Like, what? That's how insane this is going to be. Or we can finally, move on as a planet. Oh, no. Don't you even dare say that. Don't you even dare move on ever. No, but Trump offending all these Christians and Catholics with the depiction of Jesus. Move on from that, though. Move on. Trump lying about the campaign promises. Move on from that. All right. The Biden administration opening up the southern border, letting 10, 15, 20 million people in, committed a bunch of crimes. You need to move on from that. Okay, all the trans kids and all the doctors that mangled them and chopped them up. You need to move on from that. You need to move on from all of these things. Okay? USS Liberty, Gulf of Tonkin, what was the guy's name? Ori Solomon. You guys need to move on from all of this stuff, but never move on from the Holocaust. Never. How dare you? And of course, because that's their ultimate ticket to do whatever they want. It's like, Israel, could you just try it for a weekend? Would a weekend be too much to ask? A day? Can we do a day? Israel, could you just try one day without killing innocent people? Israel, could you just try one day not bombing a foreign country, killing innocent people, destroying civilizations at large? Could you just try for one day, a weekend? Is a weekend too much to ask? I'm not even going to ask for a week. I know you guys can't stop killing for a week. How about a weekend? A day? Can we get a day? No, the Holocaust, we can't rest for a day, the Holocaust. Okay. So they had a billboard in Times Square reminding you. There's the billboard they had. 6 million was never just a number. This was in Times Square. Gotta let you know. Gotta let you know, folks. I'm sorry. It's just so ridiculous. And they're all fleeing Israel now, too, by the way. So you're going to see ads like this. This was in Greece. They are selling, this is in Hebrew. This is a message for Israelis that have fled Israel and they're fleeing to Greece. And you have an offer here. You can buy a house for 90,000 shekels, pounds, I don't know. 90,000, whatever it is. 90,000 units for a house in Greece. So Israel, here you go. Here's your Jewish state. You got the land. You got the state. This is for you. Good for you, Jews. This is your land. 3,000 years. Here you go. Great. Congratulations. And then what do you do with it? Oh, you just bomb the entire planet, blackmail the entire planet. Now everybody wants to bomb you. So you're fleeing the land that you guys were given because you've turned it into the most hated land in the world. Congratulations. I say congratulations. So now you're going to see these billboards all across these airports as the Israelis are fleeing their own country because they've turned it into a pariah. So they're all fleeing Israel, and now they can go buy homes somewhere else off of the money that they took from whatever foreign country gave it to them. Congratulations, guys. I mean, really well done. I think so. A bastion of humanity to be studied forever. Way to go, guys. And on Holocaust Remembrance Day, just to really let you know. Viktor Orban is out. Hungary election 2026 results. Whoa. Peter Magyar wins. Trump ally Viktor Orban concedes landmark defeat. So basically what you have here is, I think this is definitely in a small percentage, the Trump effect. Now that Trump is not popular, being a foreign ally of Trump is not a good look. So just like in Japan, they're protesting their prime minister. In Hungary, they just voted Orban out. He was one of Trump's best allies. So Orban is out. Now, the guy that was just elected, he's kind of closer. He's still on the right. But if you were going to try to compare and contrast to where, American politics are at to the guy that just won in Hungary, basically the guy that won in Hungary is the American right that is anti-MAGA. It's basically it. So Orban was kind of like the MAGA right in Hungary, and he just got defeated by the anti-MAGA right. That's basically what it is. So the guy that got elected, he's more hard on foreign policy. He's more hard on stopping the Middle East wars. He's more hard on getting his country out of all of these affairs. So basically Orban was MAGA, and it just got defeated by the anti-MAGA right in Hungary is essentially what you had there. All right, that I believe will do it for our geopolitics. We're going to come back and look at this data center angle, and then we also have some other domestic news stories before we hit our super chats, as we do every day at the end of the show. Hour number 3 of the Owen Report on the other side.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
No, you stop this.
All right, before we get into this data center news, I do have an update. I was kind of teasing this last week. We do have an update on the store today. OwenSchroyer.store, the official merchandise of the Owen Report. We do have an update. We didn't do the full reform yet. I still want to work on a couple of things before we post them. And then I figured, since the weather, it got a little cold. It got a little cold in Austin, a little rainy, a little cold. So I said, all right, let's keep the hoodies. Let's keep the sweatshirts up there, at least for now. It's not fully warm weather yet. So we kept a lot of it. If you're on the site and you realize some of it's gone, we did get rid of a couple things that were on the site. Most of it is still there. 2 new additions, however, 2 new additions. We have added the Owen Report polo. Now, this is different than the one I'm wearing today. We do have, how many colors do we ended up going with here? We do have 5 different colors. I wear a medium on this. So I would say, if you're around, I'm usually around 5'11", 175 is usually about where I'm at. Some days I might be 6 foot, depends on the hair. No, so I'm usually about 5'11", 175. I wear a medium in this shirt, in this polo, but honestly, I almost wonder if I could do a small. It wears a little large. So the Owen Report polo is back. And then we also added a new Win polo with the Win Network Globe logo. So now we have the Win Trident and the Win Globe polo. This one is the gold, though, the gold embroidered logo. The other one was black. And we got a couple, just black in this one, actually. Just black in this one. The other Win polo, we have a couple colors. So we do have an update to the store. Not a full update, but a little update to OwenSchroyer.store. Now, I do want to tell you this. On Wednesday, I will have a big announcement on Wednesday. And we could have made the announcement today. I decided to wait till Wednesday. We could have made the announcement today, but I want to wait till Wednesday because I just want to make sure of a couple other things before we make the official announcement. But on Wednesday, I will be announcing something that I have been working on for a long time, specifically for months. I've been working on this, we'll say, product for now. Some of you might already know. I've teased it with some of you. But I've been working on this project for months. Really, for years, I've been trying to perfect something for years. And so we're going to have a very exciting announcement Wednesday. I'm very happy with the product. We already have the product in hand. We already have it. Okay. So I could be announcing it now, but I want to wait. We're going to take care of a couple of things before we announce this Wednesday. But I'm very, very excited. Very, very excited for this product. And, maybe I'll give you another tease because there's actually a news story today that kind of ties into this. All right. Speaking of news, let's do it. Let's go back to the news. Imperial County supervisors clear path for massive data center complex amid fierce opposition. So this all happened last week. We didn't get to this with the crazy news week. There's an update. So they were going to pass this, and it seemed like it was all in the clear to pass this data center. And then there was a huge protest. You want to see some of the sights and sounds here, guys? So they ran off the data center people. They ran off the local politicians that brought it in. This is a righteous fight. If we want to stop our digital imprisonment, folks, if we want to stop this 1984 Orwellian AI surveillance government, then the data centers is like the first stop. It's like if they don't have the data centers, they can't bring it in. It's much harder for them to bring this in without data centers. And you want to protect your communities. Protect your communities, folks. Same thing happened. So we're going to try to cover this. It's happening a lot. This is in Oklahoma.
You're arrested.
What?
So this guy got arrested for speaking out against the data centers. Could that be because they're coming in here to support foreign interests and a certain people's interests? And that's why you can't talk about it? Seems to be the pattern.
Channel 8, note how they let the person positive go over his time. You're shameful. You're shameful. Shameful.
Okay, we just
Everybody
need
take a
everybody
picture of
to sit
this.
down. We need to get through the meeting so that everyone can
Yeah,
talk.
why don't y'all quit arresting people? Would you make a note that they let their guys speak before we go over without arresting them?
You're arrested.
What? Oh!
So listen, guys. Got a couple other examples of this. This is one we have to win on. This is one we have to win on. And I guess I would say if you hear about a data center coming to your community, or you hear about there's going to be a city council meeting, a local meeting, whatever the case is, or there's going to be a protest, or there's going to be a resistance, you got to be there. You got to be there. You got to be there. You got to be filming. You got to make your voice heard. We have to document this stuff. This is like the only place right now where I think we can put our foot down and have a victory. As far as the bigger picture is concerned with Trump and the Republican Party, I don't think there's much we can do. You know, we can cause them to crash out and spiral out and embarrass themselves and then just show the country how they betrayed us. But that's not really a victory. That's just maybe this can develop a bit of something into the future for a victory. This is one we have to win on, guys. I don't even know the proper, because really we're already behind. If we're being honest, we're already behind, but I think we're closer to them than they think we are. I don't think they anticipated this level of resistance. I don't think they anticipated this level of local activism when it comes to these data centers. I think they thought they could just kind of ram them through if there was any resistance, or there would be no resistance, but they're learning, okay, there is resistance. And then when they do try to ram it through, there's a bit of a public backlash that we're seeing. So now you're getting arrested. We see all. So if you see or hear anything about this in your local community, you have to participate. You have to get out there. You have to document. You have to make your voice heard. This is one thing we can do right now in this weird kind of political purgatory that we're in, where we know we have a losing team in the White House. We know we have a losing team in charge of Congress, but we can still find victories with these big losers that we just elected. So this is one we have to win on. Pay attention to this. Keep your eye out for this. Keep your ear out for this at the local community level, and get out there and be active if you can. This is one we have to win. This is one we have to win. And I think if we have enough backlash and enough outcry here, I think we can do it. I think we can do it. But it's like, how do we, so even though we're behind, we're a lot closer than they thought we were. But even though we're behind, what we need on this issue, and maybe somebody will fill the void. I'm trying to manifest this. Somebody needs to fill this void. We have to have some sort of like data center protest group that is like a centralized hub for the American people to stay up to date on where these data centers are coming to and where they need to go to make some sort of resistance possible. If not, stop them from happening, because that's ultimately what we need here. We have to stop these things from happening. If you knew they were about to build a prison to put you in, and you saw them laying the foundation, laying the groundwork, I think we would all say, hey, stop it. You're not putting us all in prison. You're not building that groundwork. You're not building that foundation. We know what you're doing with this cement here. It's not happening. That's what these data centers are. That's what these data centers are. That's the foundation that they're building for the prison that they're going to put you in. And it's hard to even comprehend because we're not there yet. Like, we're not all the way into the digital world where the digital world overwhelms the physical world as far as like punishment is concerned. But we're going there. And they want us fully immersed in the digital world. They want us fully interfaced with the digital world. Maybe we won't do that. Maybe we will. But we cannot give them. They are building the prison for us before we even go into the world. So you think you're stepping in to this new digital interface. You think you're stepping into this new world of the wild, wild west online and whatever these new interfaces have to offer. You're actually stepping right into the prison. The first step you take is right into that prison. We have to stop this. These data centers have to be stopped, folks. Ask yourself, why are they building these things? Why? They don't need them. Are you having any trouble on the internet today? Are you having any trouble pulling up your favorite website? Do you have any trouble pulling up this video? Making a comment on this video? No. Why do they need these data centers? It's all for the surveillance AI government, folks. It's all for the AI government. That's what this entire thing is about. We have to stop it. So I've got more of these. I'm glad to see this is happening because this is all so organic and so outside of the national conversation that it's just wonderful to see these things happening. Here's another one in Oakland County, Michigan, data center.
And this is a public forum. You can't have that.
It's not her fault. Block is working in partnership with Palantir. Palantir is funded by Peter Thiel. He is one of the richest men alive. Palantir is named after the evil all-seeing eye in Lord of the Rings. And that is an accurate name because Palantir has been used to track and surveil and murder people overseas. That same technology is being used with block safety to funnel all of our data into a system that knows everything about you. Everything about you. And they have complete rights to that data. They say that the data is secure here, but they do not own the data. No. And never once have we had technology where our data has been protected. Nope. Never once. Nope. And what are they doing on us? What are they doing on us? This is not something we just let happen. No. That is what they're trying to do today. If who represents us, vote them out. 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 Vote them out.
Lot to unpack right there, actually. This is happening across the country, and I want to get ahead of something. The only thing we really have, I think, to compare this to is when they started doing the COVID tyranny and the vaccines and everything, and there were people that were willing to stand up and speak out against it. And in that moment, you had a lot of people in the fractured left versus right paradigm. You had a lot of people on the left that kind of came out and said, hey, this is crazy. These vaccine mandates, this is wild. I don't want anything to do with this. And then at a leadership level, it was the American right. It was American conservatives that were standing up and saying, hey, we don't like lockdowns. We don't like these shutdowns. We don't like these masks. We don't like these vaccines. So you saw some leftists, come out and say, hey, this makes sense to me. I'm with them. I'm against these vaccines. I'm against these mandates. I don't care if it's left, right. It doesn't matter. This is about freedom. You're going to see a very similar thing happen with these data centers. And so I don't want to see this deal where you're going to have people on the American right. Eventually, everybody's going to pick this up. And you're going to have people on the American right saying, oh, this is leftist, this is liberal, listen to them talk. I don't give a damn if it's a liberal, if it's a conservative. I don't care. This is something that's going to impact all of us. So I don't want to see this. If I start to see people on the right saying, oh, this is some liberal activism, this is some leftism, I don't want to see that for 1 second. No, this is about freedom against tyranny. This is about humans being in control of our own agency, humans being in control of our own existence, our own country. That's what this is about. As soon as we accept all these data centers and then the AI surveillance, it's over. We lose everything. Now, what's even more unfortunate, and this is why I anticipate there could be a issue on the right here. What's more unfortunate is that Trump is spearheading this. Trump is bringing this in. This is actually Trump's baby. Trump is the one that posted Palantir stock the other day because it was collapsing. So Trump is trying to bring in the 1984 surveillance state. Now, ask yourself why. I don't know. Maybe he's an idiot. Maybe he's blackmailed. Maybe him and his family are set to make billions. Maybe all of the above. Whatever the reason is, it's happening. Trump is bringing it in, folks. Trump is building the infrastructure for your digital surveillance state, for your digital prison. Trump is doing it, and he is set with his family to make billions of dollars as they all got in at the grass level, and then they all got the government contracts. So they're all making off like bandits, and then they're building us our digital prison. But that's just like a political thing. That's just like a greedy, money-grubbing whore thing. What is it really about? What is it really about that they need these data centers? Well, they need to be able to compile a file on each individual. They need a digital footprint of each individual. Right now, that is mostly isolated. Let me give you an example. You probably see this. You buy a new computer, and they keep hitting you with this, you need cloud storage, you need cloud storage. And that's them wanting you to basically operate your system through a remote cloud, meaning that whatever data, whatever's going on, it's not just there on your computer. It's now in an external server somewhere else. Some people opt into this, some people don't. But you could say, maybe there's a purpose. Your computer crashes, you switch computers, you get into the cloud, and you just bring it into your new system. So maybe there's a service for that. But otherwise, if you don't sign up for that service, which I don't, my guess is most people here probably are, suspicious enough to not put anything on a cloud, right? Okay. So your data, everything you do online, your passwords, your internet activity, your cookies, all of that is sustained internally, your computer. And there's only so much of it that is able to be accessed externally. There's only so much of a digital footprint that you have that is still external. And unless you're actually on social media, there's virtually nothing. There's virtually zero. So maybe like an email, a social media app, your web streaming service. Outside of that, you essentially have no real digital footprint outside of your computer. And you can probably erase most of the stuff inside your computer, and there's very little anybody outside could really find out about you if they wanted to, outside of your social media activity that's already putting data points in some other server. So what they want, what are these data centers all about? It's all about taking that information and then permanently storing it in a file somewhere remotely that you can't even stop. You can't stop it. You can't access it. Everything goes into that file. Now, eventually, when they truly have quantum computing and AI, then they can really get a sound depiction of your character, let's say, or however they're going to judge you based off of that data. But they need the data centers. None of this is possible without the data centers. They can't sit here and store gigabytes of activity on 300 million Americans, folks. They can't do it. It's just they don't have the capacity. And now that they need the energy and the data processing for all the AI, now they're even in a smaller space to try to store all of this information. So they're building the data centers so that they can take you and your digital footprint and then create a personal file, and everything you ever do and everything you ever say. I don't even think it matters if you're on the internet, because they can still record you with this, everything you do, everything you say. Literally every activity you make that in any possible way can translate to digital data, it will go into these servers. It will go into these data centers. So you might not even be connected. Just your phone activity, what you say, your phone's recording you. Where you go, your phone is tracking you. Everything. So you're talking about gigabytes, terabytes of personal information that they want to permanently store in these data centers to create some sort of an AI profile of you and then decide, are you a good person or not? So that's how they're going to do it. And then, of course, if you're not a good person, they can shut off your digital ID. If you're not a good person, they can shut off your access to your bank account. If you're not a good person, they can make sure your car doesn't turn on, your door doesn't open, your thermostat doesn't get colder or hotter or turn on at all. That's what this entire thing is about. And now you've been bullied into submission. That's what these data centers are all about, folks. They must be resisted. They must be resisted. And now that everything, virtually everything you can own can be connected to the internet, now they can really create this digital credit score. But they need the data centers. They need somewhere to store it permanently because it just doesn't exist right now. So we have to resist this. This has to be a resistance factor. We're not going to get any help from the White House. We're not going to, I don't know, maybe the Republican Party. I don't know. I don't think it's really reached that critical mass yet for it to become a political issue. But we might be able to take it there, and then we can see if anybody wants to have our back politically. But right now, it's up to us. Right now, it's up to us to stop these data centers from being built anytime we possibly can. And especially if you're going to live near one, it just basically sounds like a loud computer. So this is what a data center sounds like. All right, we played plenty of these videos. You know what it is. It basically just sounds like a loud computer running, like a computer humming 24/7. You step outside, you hear it. And if you're close enough, you can probably hear it through your windows. So it's like, oh, yeah, I don't want to live next to the highway. That's kind of a lot of street noise. Well, now they're putting the data center, and it's going to be virtually the same thing. So it's just something we got to stop. I'm going to continue to cover it, make more noise about it. But it's like, if there's anywhere for us to put our foot down, if there's anything for the American people to look at activism and say we can get something done here, that is it. Stopping these data centers, taking local action, following the local politics of it. And if we can make a big enough fuss and we can really stop their plans with this, we might even be able to force it to the top political level, and you're going to have to make it a campaign issue. You're going to have to make it a campaign issue. And you're going to have to tell, you're running a local House race, you're running a local mayor's race, whatever it is, and you're going to tell people, hey, no data centers. We will not be building data centers here while I'm in office. But we kind of have to get it to that point. So continue the resistance, continue letting people know, continuing to push back, and then we can maybe get it to that level. But the local action is happening. I mean, I'm very impressed by local Americans on this issue. Festus voters oust 4 incumbents over data center dispute. They voted out every single person that supported the data center. That's how you win right there. Every single person. Festus, Missouri. 4 incumbent Festus City Council members were voted out of office Tuesday by residents opposed to a planned data center. And they got out and they voted in Festus and they kicked out every single one of those people that brought in the data center. Good for them. But, all right, maybe there's something else we got to think about here. How do you guys feel about this deal? North Carolina Police Department defends use of drones amid privacy concerns. They're flying around police drones now. Morrisville police have been using drones for months to help respond to service calls. The town's 6 drones have responded to criminal activity, traffic stops and crashes, and missing person reports. How do we feel about the drones in the sky for law enforcement? How do we feel about that? Now we're starting to flirt with Terminator, aren't we? Starting to flirt with Terminator here. How are the Trump pardons going? Well, we know he loves pardoning fraudsters. What about sex abusers? Pastor accused of sexually abusing foster child had prior prison sentence commuted by Trump. Oh! A South Carolina pastor accused of sexually assaulting a foster child had his prison sentence commuted by President Donald Trump and was on federal probation when the alleged assaults occurred. Now, Rodney Gibson and Kwani Young were arrested. Both were charged with unlawful conduct with a minor, while Gibson was additionally charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct, second-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Gibson was also identified as the pastor of Pathway to Hope Ministries in Columbia, South Carolina, while Young owns and operates Dreamcatcher Child Development Center. Yikes. Yikes. And Trump commuted this guy's sentence. Why did Trump commute a South Carolina pastor accused of sexual assault with a child? Why would President Trump commute that sentence? And now it looks like he's going to be back in jail. Yeah. You know, you abuse a child once. I think that should be it for you. I think that should be it for you and probably your lineage as well. I'd say that's enough of your DNA. It's time for you to go. Not the family that's already here, just to clarify. I mean, you abuse a child one time, you're not procreating ever again. You shouldn't even be allowed to leave a jail cell. But if you are, I think we just go ahead and... Do they still have those paper cutters? That's what they called it, right? Those big machines that had that big blade and it just cut a straight line. They probably still some use for that. If not, let's just bring them all. Oh, you abuse a child? All right. Yep. Go ahead. Put it right up here. Put it right on the chopping block. There you go. You won't be raping any more children, and you won't be making any more either. And that's how you deal with that. But I guess when your government's a bunch of blackmailed pedophiles, you know how it goes, guys. Times Square, July 4th ball drops. No public policy could spark chaos for New York Police Department. Wait, what? If you drop it, they will come, and that's a problem for NYPD. A planned Times Square ball drop to celebrate America's 250th anniversary will come without a public event. But critics fear it'll become a crowd control nightmare for New York's finest because revelers will show up anyway. I think this is some sort of an anti-Trump move. I don't know. I don't get this one. But they're basically saying they want to, they're going to do the 250th celebration, but it's not like a public event. So I'm not really sure what is the point if it's not going to be a public event. And then saying it's not going to be a public event is going to only make it, there's going to be a demand for the public event now. So my guess is Mom Donnie is going to get a call from Trump, and they're going to have to reevaluate here, and they'll probably do some big event. That's my guess. So whatever the reason for trying to stop this from being some big public event, I don't see how they're going to stop it. They're going to have to probably change their tact on that. And then Trump will declare a victory, I bet. So we'll see. Oh, boy. 2 airlifted after car crash near Grissom Air Force Base. No, folks, it was a semi-truck. It's not a car crash. The cars crashed because of a bad semi-truck driver who was wearing a turban. The Grissom Air Force Reserve Base Fire Department said fire crews responded to a report of a crash involving a pickup truck and a semi on US 31 northbound at 850 south. Airlifted means somebody's probably dead, guys. This is in Peru, Indiana. By the way, speaking of Peru, they just had an election, and they had to delay the election because they had all of these problems with the voting booths, all the problems with the electric voting machines. Yeah. So there's a funny one for you. Since we're talking about Peru, Indiana, that's Peru, the country. They can't, their voting machines failed, so they've had to delay the vote. So, yeah, so this was another foreigner who probably shouldn't even have been driving a semi. It looks like probably some death because of it. That's just great. You may remember this one from a couple of weeks ago. Driver of semi involved in fatal Hendricks County crash only had a few months of experience. Oh, there he is. Sukhdeep Singh. Sukhdeep Singh. Mm-hmm. I like my semi-truck drivers with a nice American name and a nice sweaty trucker hat with their favorite diner somewhere along the road. That's how I like my semi-truck drivers. These foreigners seem to, very high risk. Very high risk. Trusting Eric Swalwell might be a very high risk as well. Eric Swalwell suspends campaign for California governor amid sexual assault accusations. In a social media post, the representative said he was deeply sorry for mistakes in judgment I've made in my past, but promised to fight what he called false allegations. So this is a weird one. I'm going to tell you, I wasn't too interested in this because we've all known Swalwell is a creep, right? It's not like I needed to see this video from over the weekend, but there's this video from over the weekend. You know, there's a couple things about this, guys. I saw the video. In fact, I'm going to pull up the chat here as I'm talking. I saw the video, and I couldn't help but wonder if it was AI. I did. I saw it, and I said, is this AI? Now, that's kind of a larger issue that I think we're going to be dealing with pretty soon of, is the video real or not? I mean, are you going to be surprised if somebody starts making videos about Trump to make Trump look bad, and it might be AI, or Trump will claim it's AI, even if it's real? So I think we're kind of, to me, it was like the first time where it was like head on. It's like, okay, here's this video. By the way, it looks recent. It's a video of what appears to be Swalwell on a bed with some young girls, basically, you know, forcing himself on them. And so I was like, is this AI? Is this AI? I guess the video is real. I mean, he didn't deny the video was real. So I guess the video is real, but the allegations are false. It's a little confusing since the allegations are in the video. I mean, it's pretty clear, like, this girl doesn't want to make out with you, and you basically, you know, forced yourself on her. So he's resigned. He's resigning from his office. He's no longer running for governor. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay. So here's Eric Swalwell. This guy's been corrupt. This guy, there's always been allegations, but now that we have a video, oh, he's gone. So that's all it took was the video evidence. Okay, well, that's interesting. Now, why, if you're denying the allegations, why do you quit? Well, I don't think it's fair to reach 100% a conclusion on this, but if you deny the videos are real, but you resign anyway, to me, that that means the videos are real. And probably the allegations too. But so, okay, here's Swalwell. We know he's corrupt. We know he's a liar. We know he's creepy. There's nothing new there. So why now? He's in the middle of a governor's race. He's more popular than ever in the Democrat Party. He's on the come. And then the video. And now all of a sudden he's out. He's resigning from office. He's not running for governor. Now you're probably going to get Tom Steyer, by the way. I doubt this is going to move anybody to the Republican Party in California. So you're probably going to get Tom Steyer. But I'm sitting here, I'm saying, okay. So it took the video to get him out of there. Well, now what's stopping people from making AI videos? It was a short video too. It's him on the bed. There's looks like some younger women there. I don't know how old they are. They're younger. And he's, definitely really trying to make out with the one of them. She doesn't seem interested, but he gets, he locks lips. So, okay, maybe you've seen the video, maybe you haven't. I don't even want to show it, especially, if that woman's a victim. I don't think there's any need to show it here. But I can't help but wonder. It's like, so, okay, all it took was the video. So now what? I don't even know if we can properly measure this, but I feel like we are a year or less even away from these deep fake AI videos. And how are we going to know? How are we going to know what's real and what's not when these AI videos get so detailed? I'd say we're a year or less away. And now that there's an example, they say, hey, Swalwell, a video got him out of there. Part of me looks at it and says, the whole process, is your mind a quantum computer? My mind is it's like a good chess player, I guess, but for politics, it's like I can look at a concept and then immediately see every single possible outcome. And it all happens like that. That's why it's so easy to derail me. It's like I'm thinking about this AI situation. It's like, oh, if I say what I'm going to say now, is AI going to come back and hunt me down in 5 to 10 years? Probably, actually. Probably going to come kill me for saying this. So whatever. But I guess that's what we deal with here. No, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, is it time to just ban AI? I mean, is it time to just say, hey, no, we're not ready for this. We got to we're putting pause on this right now. We have got to stop this AI. I would say yes. Honestly, I'd say yes. And if there's something to compare it to, I would just ask this. And I don't even want to, this isn't like, I'm not trying to make some righteous stand here. But let's look at it like this. Let's ask you guys in the chat here. If we could go back and warn pre-2007 America about smartphones, would we say, hey, we shouldn't do this? Internet, okay. Some of the other technology on the internet and some of the other stuff that's gone on there, okay. But, this smartphone, we're carrying around an internet, a database, a phone, a camera, everything else. If we could go back to 1994, how many people right now would say we need to go back? If we could go back and warn Americans at the turn of the 21st century and say, hey, one thing we did here that you need to think twice about, would it not be smartphones? If you could go back to 1994 and restart, would you do it? If you could go back and warn pre-2007 America about what would happen when we did this, would you go back and make that warning? I obviously use this. I'm not acting high and mighty here. I use this damn thing all the time. I also hate the world that it has created. But AI is going to be like beyond this. It's almost like this maybe should be where we stop. It's almost like, okay, this is probably enough is enough. It's time to just call the dogs off. I'm not a Luddite. I'm not trying to stop human progress here. But it seems like we're about to make a huge mistake with this AI, doesn't it? It seems like there needs to be a conversation, and somebody in that debate needs to be on the side of stop it right now. It's like we need to have a debate. There needs to be a massive forum and debate about AI, and somebody needs to be on that panel that is totally against it and says we need to stop it right now. Because I just feel like, you know, the human experience that has been lost because of this. Imagine the human experience that's going to be lost because of AI. And I do have another story on that. If we can start to get judicious, I'll probably have to go into some bonus time here. So you may have seen this over the weekend. We've been covering that one lady, Jennifer Koonings, vile New York City nurse who went on demented anti-Semitic tirade in Times Square, traveled to Iran on propaganda trip. You know, it's funny because I don't believe they have ever said that Laura Loomer was vile or that Mark Levin is vile or that any individual that calls for dead children in Palestine or celebrates dead people in Lebanon. None of them have ever been called vile. But because she's anti-Israel, she's considered vile. So there's your blatant double standard right there. Oh, she went to Iran on a propaganda trip. Okay. So we have a big issue with that. Right? We don't want Americans going to foreign countries on a propaganda trip, guys, right? Obviously, America agrees you shouldn't go to a foreign country on a propaganda trip. And it'd be even worse if you got paid. Except, wait a second. This is what we see with Israel almost every day, and not a single headline like this. So it's amazing. If logic can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. Now, I don't care how you feel about Jennifer. I don't care how you feel about her. I don't care how you feel about what she says, love it or hate it. If you have a problem with an American going to Iran to have a propaganda trip, but you don't have a problem with somebody going to Israel for a propaganda trip, then you have a double standard and you're not engaged in logic, you're engaged in propaganda, and we're not going to do it here. But I do think it's hilarious. Let's use Laura Loomer as an example. Perfect juxtaposition in my eyes. Who would you rather spend a day with, Jennifer or Laura? So here's Laura. She says the most vile anti-Islamic things of anybody. She goes to Israel. She does all the pro-Israel stuff. You know, there's a whole team of Israel propagandized agents online, many of them getting paid. Now we know it for a fact because of these lawsuits with Project Esther. But, oh, you can't go to Iran. And you're vile if you don't support Israel. So you can be the most vile anti-Islam. It's okay. You can go to Israel and take the propaganda trip. That's all good. But you can't do it in Iran and you can't do it against Israel. That's what you call a double standard. That's what you call, if logic can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. So we'll just go ahead and hammer that one real quick. Speaking of hammered, Ayanna Pressley. Oh, this is going to be hilarious. I won't play this long clip here. Just days before Democrat Representative Ayanna Pressley was sworn into Congress, her husband quit a $92,000 a year job to start a consulting firm. Her net worth assets skyrocketed to $8 million. Now, in this report, they claim that Pressley herself had a negative value, a negative worth. Now, you know, you see this stuff and it's like, was she actually poor? Did she just have some debt? Whatever. They kind of go into this report. So she had some debt. She had a negative net worth. Wasn't living poor. But what they find is pretty shocking. Oh, okay, she gets into Congress, her husband takes this job, and basically her net worth skyrockets up to 7+ figures. Oh, amazing how that works in politics, no matter what party you're in. Now, here's what I find funny, though, about this story. Again, I'm looking for logical consistency here. Oh, the Republicans. The Republicans are up in arms about Ayanna Pressley. The Republicans are angered that Ayanna Pressley would use her office to enrich herself. They're outraged. But the outrage will go nowhere, will it? Because at the end of the day, the Republicans do the same thing. And at the end of the line, Donald Trump and his family are enriching themselves off politics more than any other family in American politics. And you couldn't have said that in the first term. The first term, Trump got in there and lost net worth. And then maybe he just figured it's not worth it, so he sold out. And now him and his family are making billions of dollars off of Trump being involved in politics. Billions. And when it's all said and done, maybe trillions. The Trump family will make more money than the Biden crime family off of Trump being involved in politics. Joe Biden's pay-for-play scam with his brother and son is like 5% of what the Trump family is engaging in. It's like nothing. It's like you look at the Biden crime family compared to Trump, and you're like, those are freaking amateurs. Like, those are freaking small potatoes. Trump family, they're cutting one deal for a drone company, a rare earth country, whatever. They're cutting one deal. They already made more money than the Bidens will ever make. So, yeah, it's funny. The Republican outrage always ends at Democrats, and they never hold their own accountable. And that's why Trump's been able to get away with so much. That's why Trump has become such a backstabbing, betraying liar, is because you look at the conservatives, and that's what they do. They could watch Ayanna Pressley do the exact same thing they watch any other Republican do, and they'll scream about Pressley doing it. They won't say a damn word about the Republicans doing it. Not a damn word. Let's move on. Let's move on from this economic news so that we can get to some super chats here. What is this? Ron DeSantis did a video here, and he's eating pizza and drinking grape soda. Are you serious? What is that? I'm not, I mean, like, what? We all know the Epstein Files reference, which, by the way, this looks like, I guess they're in a restaurant and they sell this grape soda. I don't know. Am I crazy here? Okay. So we all know about the Epstein references, pizza, grape soda. Okay. Am I crazy here? Does anybody drink grape soda? I'm genuinely asking. I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't think I've ever even seen grape soda. I think about like the last 10 years of my life. I don't even think I've seen grape soda. Am I crazy? Guys, I'm not. I know. Oh, it's a funny racial joke. Oh, black people like it. What? I don't. Do black people even like it? I hang around black people. I see black people. I don't see anybody drinking grape soda. Like, is any of this even real? So I don't know. The grape soda picture deal. It's like, are you trying to send a message? Why would you even do that? I have no idea. All right. Speaking of AI, this is a crazy story, guys. This is a crazy one. This guy will introduce himself. He's a teacher's aide. Now, the one pitch I'll give it here was, because of AI now, they're basically forced to use this software, and he's going to show you this, but they're basically forced to use this program that can identify whether or not a essay, a college assignment was used with AI or not. And he goes into the program, and you can see how it works, and you say, okay, well, that makes sense if you're trying to stop somebody from submitting an AI paper. Okay. But what he reveals here is insane. I had never even thought about this as a concept, but I guess if you're trying to stop AI, from being submitted in these papers. I guess this is how you do it. Watch what he reveals. This one blew my mind. Watch what he reveals. This program that tries to stop you from using AI on college assignments.
Is it just me, or is anyone else slightly concerned what professors can see when you upload your paper for them to grade it? Because I am grading a student's paper right now. I'm a TA, and this professor is having me do something that he's never had me do before when it comes to grading a college student's paper. And I want to show you guys what this is and like what you guys should look out for if you're currently making essays in college. Okay, so this is a student's paper that I pulled up in Google Docs. It's a real student's paper. And when I come over here to this black dot from GPT-0, what it does is it pulls up basically an AI detector, okay? But the real thing is we can obviously see this is a human paper, okay? The student didn't use AI or ChatGPT to write the paper. But the way that we're proving it now, that my professors never had us do until now, is this button right here called the typing analysis. Guys, what this does is it pulls up a video in real time showing you exactly how the student typed the paper. So it shows all of the front spaces and like all of the back spaces, all the keystrokes the student made when writing out the essay. Then it shows all the pastes and all the edits the student made. And if you come over here, you can see the timestamp when the student uploaded the paper into Google Docs, how many words are in the paper, how many edits and pastes there are, how long it took the student to write the paper. Then it shows the editors of the paper, so the student and the professor who both made edits to this paper. And then this typing analysis, where it says if it's natural or unnatural sounding. And this paper is 100% natural sounding because of the pauses, errors, and changes in speed and rhythm.
So basically, they're doing screen recordings now. And it's like, did you even know that was going on? So now you've got AI analyzing screen recordings. Now, I assume, we have to point this out. I'm assuming that Dr. William Poop is a pseudonym, so they don't expose the actual name of the student or whatever here. I'm going to assume that that's the case because I did look into the program and that is real. So, okay. Now you see why they want data centers, folks. They want to screen record everything you freaking do. So you might think, oh, I can communicate and I can type a message in but not send it so it doesn't register any data. It's just like, oh, it's there and I delete it. Nothing registers. It's just like gone with the wind. Oh, they can screen record everything you do. They want to screen record every single thing on every single screen in this country 24/7 and log it into a data center so that they can go back and keep up with anything and everything you're saying. And when you have paranoid schizophrenics that are running your planet, that's why you have this, folks. Paranoid schizophrenics run our planet. And if you want to know why they're paranoid schizophrenics, it's because they're committing the greatest crimes on the planet today. Why is it that we are run by paranoid schizophrenics? Because they're the biggest criminals on the earth and they're scared they're going to get caught. That's why. That is crazy to see. I was shocked when I saw that. Hey, maybe you're driving around, you're listening to the radio, and you hear one of those great commercials from the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews.
Today, we are witnessing the rise of anti-Semitism around the world like never before. For many poor elderly Jews, their dream of making Aliyah one day and coming home to Israel is extremely difficult, if not impossible. But you can change all of that today for one precious Jew. Even in a time of war, the safety and shalom of moving to Israel under God's protection and his covenant promise to bring his chosen people home is why we're asking you today to partner with us. The cost to rescue one Jew and purchase a seat on an upcoming Fellowship Aliyah Freedom Flight is $710. With a donation to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews of $35, you'll help one poor elderly Jew out of a life of hopelessness and anti-Semitism to start a brand new life in Israel. Here's how you can reach 800-3.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is funny. Yeah, because Israel isn't getting enough of your dollars and the tax dollars they give us. And Israelis aren't fleeing Israel right now by the day. And there aren't any rich Jews either. There are definitely no rich American Jews that can help out with this cause. No, they have to shake down the Christians to pay for this pilgrimage. Oh God, man. How bad is it, guys? Oh, how bad is it? Oh my gosh. Hey, quickly, before we go to the super chats here, we'll do a little bonus time today on a Monday transmission. Did you watch the Masters this weekend? What a great Masters it was. And I really enjoyed the extended coverage now. It's so popular. You can basically watch the entire thing from Thursday through Sunday's finish. I don't know how long they've been doing that. They had multiple live features on Amazon. So I pretty much had it going the entire tournament, but really paid attention over the weekend. What a great tournament for Masters fans. I think that was one of the best Masters I can remember in recent history. That was my favorite Masters since Tiger came back and won it. I believe that was 2019. 2019. That was my favorite Masters since 2019. And Rory McIlroy ends up winning by that famous -12 number. He beats Scheffler by 1 stroke. I had Scheffler. You guys were giving me a hard time. I was 1 stroke down, 1 stroke away. And Rory almost blew it in classic fashion. But no, so he finishes the job. But here's the real story of this Masters. And it's so good that Rory actually ended up winning. McIlroy's performance on Thursday and Friday was so good. It was actually historically good, arguably the best Thursday, Friday ever at the Masters. So you get into Saturday, and Rory is on the board with a -12. I think the next closest might have been a -6. And because of that, we watched probably the greatest Saturday I can ever remember in Masters history. Because the rest of the field was forced to play at a -12 pace. And I saw a bunch of people on X attacking me that don't understand golf, so that's okay. And I said, hey, what Rory has done is he's forced every golfer on Saturday to go for their lowest score. So people don't really understand. When you're playing golf in a tournament like that, you might be looking at a shot. And if you're down 2 versus down 6, you might handle that shot differently. You might look at a shot and say, okay, I'm going to go for the green so that I can get on the green in 2, and I'm going to take a risky shot where I might end up in the sand or in the water, but I'm going to go for that because I'm down 6, where if you're down 2, you might say, you know what? I'm going to play a conservative shot. I'm going to lay up here so that I can get a good look at the green, make sure I get there in 3 and then get a par because I'm only 2 down. So a lot of people, that went over their head. No, everybody on Saturday had to take the shot. Every single player on Saturday had to take that risky shot, and they were nailing it. It was like every single time it was like, all right, and they just kept hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. Saturday was unbelievable. It carried over into Sunday as well, where Scheffler really put it together. And then McIlroy ended up closing it out. It was great. It was the best. It was the best Masters I saw since 2019. Truly one for the memory books. And what a performance by Rory. You got to give it up. I mean, that's an all-time performance from Rory McIlroy. Anyway, okay. So people were watching it, though, and they noticed that all of the ads that were running in the breaks was never a white person. So we've all kind of seen this before, but it's the NBA. You might think, well, the demographic is mostly black, or it's NFL, large black demographic, whatever. But everybody's kind of seen that, you know, the advertising space, you don't see many whites. And if you do see a white, yeah, you know, they're probably with a black. So there's not many whites on TV ads. So people were watching the Masters. They're like, well, this is weird. golf is it's mostly white people's sport, I think. It's probably mostly white people watching it. So you'd think that, the target demographic here is probably white men for the Masters. I mean, it's like that's the target demographic. So people are saying none of it. So somebody said, well, what about online? So they went to look at Nike Golf online. No whites. None. Not only are there no whites, I mean, we're talking about like this guy looks like he's fresh out of Cambodia. Where's my this guy's fresh out of West Africa. This guy's fresh out of Cambodia. Like, these don't even look like Americans. I mean, this guy's darker. Like, what? Not a single white on Nike Golf. Not one. Whites just don't even exist, guys. There are no whites anywhere. You just can't find us. We don't exist, even though McIlroy just went back-to-back to win the Masters. So, okay. All right, guy. There you go. Us whites, we're a minority, but the whites are the minority, but they get told they're, the oppressive majority. So whites are the very distinct minority on this planet. And then they get told they're the oppressive majority. It's fun. Even at golf, folks. Even at golf.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right. Well, we're going to get a little bonus time. Going to get a little bonus time on you here for the Super Chats on a Monday. Let's see what we got here, guys. Let's see what you got. It's all right. Get your golf shorts get your golf shirts at owenschroyer.com anyway. Do we need to do golf shorts too? We could do golf shorts. Get your golf shirts at owenschroyer.store. Sorry, owenschroyer.store. Get your golf shirts there. All right, into the Super Chats. MB, you should have Dave Smith or Scott Horton on to talk about foreign policy. I could definitely get Scott Horton. I've not been able to establish a line of communication, however, with Dave Smith. That would take a bit of an effort, but I could get in touch with Scott if I needed to. All right, noted. EMG, Fox News dropped Pelosi and Democrat insider trading segments ever since Trump family started doing the same thing. Ha-ha! That's true. And nobody's talking about the Biden crime family anymore either. And by the way, wasn't Biden supposed to be dead? Laura Loomer told us Biden was dead. I guess she got that one blatantly wrong. That's a weird one to say. Wifey, I don't think DJT is capable of generating that pic. I agree. So how did he get that pic? And why did he post it? Captain Ard, we did a blockade to block a blockade because we're mad at some countries are okay paying the toll so they can have energy for their country. They are putting its citizens first, not Israel or America. Yeah, Trump has already basically screwed us over in the international community, and now this blockade is just making it worse. It's kind of the big underreported story. We're kind of caught up in the fact that Trump betrayed us. We're kind of caught up in the phenomenon of Trump, two-faced Trump stabbing us in the back, but he's also alienated us and isolated us from the rest of the world. Not in a good way, in a bad way. Not in a good way of, hey, live and let live. We're going to take care of ourselves. In a, hey, screw all of you way. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, we'll see what the final story, we'll see what the final chapter of this Trump administration is. But if it's anything like the final chapter of his first administration, I don't think you guys understand how fucked we are. Okay? And I don't know if that's even directed at this audience. That's just like everybody, specifically whatever is still MAGA. If the final chapter in this administration is as bad as the final chapter in the first, we're so cooked as a country. We're so screwed. I mean, we're just screwed. Trump's going to screw us so bad, it's not even funny. Owen Jones Schroyer had some people knock on my door asking if I've been saved by Trump. Did they have MAGA hats too? Or some other hat maybe? Julia G. Mr. 2 Corinthians. Cowpoke Ranch. They were amazed at the whiteness of our skins and asked from whence we came. So we gave them to understand we came from heaven, exploring our creation, and they believed it. Amerigo Vespucci. How many people even know about Amerigo Vespucci? They don't teach that in history class. Common sense. Trump, Iran wants a nuke so they can exterminate the entire world. Holy F, man, he just says the most stupid stuff and his cult eats it up. Yes, it's that bad. And it only gets worse, by the way. It's like the more he realizes that we've caught on to his lies, and the more he realizes that his cult will believe anything he says, it's like the worse and worse the slop gets. He knows they'll consume any slop. He knows we won't consume any slop. So it just gets even sloppier and sloppier. Vids of Doug, and you stare at Trump in Jesus Christ pose. No, he was a doctor. He was a doctor. Come on. Everybody knew that was a doctor. That's what everybody thought. Come on. You don't want to get put in the gulag here. DZ, is China waiting in the shadows to make a move? Well, China doesn't have to wait in the shadows. They're going to get Taiwan, use that against us, and then, it's kind of the philosophy of don't hurt your enemy when they're hurting themselves. That's basically what Trump is doing. Trump is crushing our country, and the rest of the world is just watching him crush our country. And it's going to crush the dollar. It's going to crush the international leverage that we've had. It's crushing everything. So China's just sitting here watching Trump destroy us, and then gravity will force everything China's way. Like Russia is now getting in bed with China. Taiwan's getting in bed with China. He's going to force Europe to get in bed with China. It's crazy how bad Trump ended up being. And you got to ask why. Like, you got to ask why he ended up being so bad. The war and economy failing. Trump was at UFC Saturday. Yeah, that was a nothing burger too. And doesn't that tell the story? Trump showing up at UFC used to be like a cultural event. Trump showing up at UFC used to be like the morale event, like the team event, like the hoorah event. Now Trump shows up at UFC and nobody even cares. He got booed. I'm not going to say it was overwhelming of boos. It was a nothing. It was a neutral. It was a zero. So that's your big story. Trump sucks now. Everybody knows it except the cult. Poor MAGA cult has mass psychosis. Probably heavily vaccinated. Save me from this circus, babe. Where are you? You're hiding. Dust Vault, I think we know who serviced Bubba now. He loves the Clintons. He tells you that now. He loves them. Seriously, what does DC left hate about Trump now? Well, they don't complain. Notice how the DC left barely complains about Trump anymore. They love Trump now. Trump's about to turn the country Democrat. They love Trump. The cult of Khan. Trump's wife, Melania, is both the proof and explanation that he is a pole smoker. I don't know if I agree with all that. I think that's a little too far for me. But that whole deal with her last week, still strange. Alpha Jerk. The plus stands for being creepy to kids. I thought that was the P. Or the MAP? I don't know. It's all ridiculous. Jose Navarro, when you lift the Iranian oil sanctions and then enforce the blockade, you control both supply and whatever this is. Don Tzu. You don't understand. No, you're just too low IQ. We had an open strait, so we started a war, and they closed the strait, so we had to continue the war to open the strait. So we've got to close the strait now to continue the war. So they had a blockade. So we're blockading their blockade and going to form a new blockade, which will be the ultimate blockade of their blockade, only to prove that we have total blockade power. Okay. It's very simple. There's an episode of South Park about that. But it's the classic, you're fired. I'm not fired. I quit. It's like that's where Trump is at right now. It's just a disaster. Anyone else see an explosion of number of 5G towers? I don't know. Austin is growing so fast that I can't tell. It's like I have noticed a lot lately. I don't know why, but the 5G towers are catching my eye lately. But it's like, I don't know if that's normal or for whatever reason I'm seeing it, or maybe they're going up because Austin it's just like nonstop building in Austin. I haven't heard about that one, though. GTVflyers.com. Tell your friends. Is that Jake TV that I'm thinking of? Those AI videos are hilarious. Hilarious, if that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. That could be something else, though. Actually, I think that's GTV. Is that I don't think that's Jake TV or Jake Reports or whatever. I think that's what's that guy's name? Gypsy Crusader, is it? I think that's what you're talking about. Somebody will probably be messaging me about this. Yeah, the handsome truth guy. Yeah. He doesn't really hold back. I guess you could say he's not really. No. Good Lord. Jeffrey Knox. See, it's like I can't even. Now people will be like, "Oh, Schroyer promoted it." Just leave me alone, bro. I read a super chat. It's called free speech. Get over it. Jeffrey Knox, if he admitted Jesus died for your sins, follow him. You are saved. That's the only way. Not building a bunker. Hey, don't tell that to the people in charge of foreign policy. JV Free. I will continue to message AJ until he invites you on the show. Reunite now. Do homework on Turkey, Owen. They do what Israel does without U.S. lobby. So my understanding of it, it's like Hungary and Turkey were kind of polar opposites, where Hungary had solid domestic policy, but bad foreign policy. And then you had Turkey that had good foreign policy, bad domestic policy. And now Hungary is going to try to get the best of both. Look, this is what it is. The whole world is sick of Israel, and they just want nothing to do with it. And they just want to elect a politician that will have nothing to do with it. And countries just want to see themselves thrive. They just want to see themselves thrive is what it is. Turkey has a U.S. base. Will it be told to stand down if Turkey gets attacked? I may identify as a Semite for a catch-all, get-out-of-jail-free card. Now, why not? I mean, that's the solution. We're all Jewish. Well, prove it. Well, you prove it. What do you mean prove it? You're the ones that get freaked out when you're asked about an ancestry test. So I am a Semite. Prove it. You prove it. Let's see Netanyahu's test. Let's see Netanyahu's ancestry test. Let's see all the Israelis' ancestry tests that claim that it's their land. Let's see every single Israeli that is going into the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights, the West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, you name it. Let's see every single one of those Israelis' DNA, and let's prove that they're actual Semites. Because otherwise, I claim to be a Semite, and that is actually my land. Because anybody can just claim it then, right? I mean, that's the deal here. Tay, open Street Maps and Garmin's maps. Does anybody use Garmin anymore? Remember those old things? Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton going after blue Lululemons. And then a viral photo of Caroline Leavitt in some blue Lululemons. Okay. Hey, now, that's what Trump's into. Well, Paxton is right about some of these clothing things. And, it's not really one I fight as far as the toxic clothing is concerned. I make choices. I mean, you make choices. I'm not going to give myself an A. I would just say this to the men listening. Definitely wear cotton for boxers. There's other options. If you want to be fancy, you can wear silk and stuff. But there's stuff that's known to not disrupt your hormones and not disrupt whatever's going on with your boys. So I would say definitely with whatever you're wearing underneath there, keep it clean so that it doesn't disrupt your boys. And then, I'm not perfect. I wear whatever I want on the top. Sometimes I wear cotton. Sometimes I wear a mixed. Personally, I prefer the tri-blends. I like the blends. But there's no doubt this stuff is doing harm. That is a fact. So good for Paxton on that. Enrique Tario, my Latina girlfriend, and I approve of Caroline Leavitt and Brianna Morella's blue Lululemons. Well, I don't know anything about Brianna's. I did see the Leavitt photo that went around, though. Good for her. How much of that is plastic? I'm talking about the clothes, of course. Mark's Micro Junit. I knew you guys would like that one. Mega Von Villain. I want an Owen as the Bee Gees shirt that says we're living in a world of fools that keeps bringing us down. Or aprons and dish gloves for us classy ladies. Just a thought. We are doing some apparel research this week. Okay. I kind of like where you're going with it. I don't mind it. I think maybe there's something there. Not sure what, but we'll think about it. We are doing some market research as far as apparel right now, so that will be taken into account. Spoon Spooky, keep up your great workload, brother. Well done. Thank you. Snowden was right. Sam White. Did you see the oh boy. Did you see the Erica Francier and her mom in the Snowden emails? Did you guys see that one? I'm not even going there. But yeah, intelligence. Yeah. NASA, we are way too deep in the tyranny. You can't vote your way out of this. They made the law in their favor, and we follow it like stupid goys. Let me know when 1776 starts. Don't be gee, be straight. Thank you for that motivational speech today, NASA. Thank you for talking about the data centers. People don't realize how serious and dark things are going to get, like a psychological gulag. It terrifies me. Yeah, and Trump gave us his last gift in administration number 1, Project Warp Speed, vaccines, and the COVID economy. Trump did that, not Biden. Trump did that, not Biden. Trump did that, and that crushed us. So what is Trump going to crush us with at the end of this administration? Is it going to be AI? Is it going to be war? I don't know, but I'd say it's 100% Trump will crush us. He's not going to crush the deep state. He's going to crush us. History repeats itself. I mean, after seeing Trump today, I thought I was a doctor. It's like, dude, you don't even bother trying to lie good. You don't even bother to try to appear like you even care about us anymore. That, to me, that's why that thing was so important. It's like, I don't even care. It's like, whatever. Trump's already lost his mind. I'm way more offended at President Trump getting us into a war in Iran. I'm way more upset with President Trump giving the green light on a bomb that killed 200 schoolgirls. Like, I'm way, like he depicts himself as Jesus. It's like, yeah, that's kind of offensive and low class, but it's like, okay, whatever. This guy's blowing up. He's killing a bunch of kids. So, that's beyond the point of no return for me. But it's like, I want to have hope. It's like, I want to have hope that Trump can still be one of us. I want to have hope that Trump is going to work for us and do what we elected him to do. I want to have hope that Trump is going to crush the deep state and actually save our country. And then he just goes out there today and says, I had no idea. I didn't know it was Jesus. I thought I was a doctor, had no clue, don't know anything. I'm retarded. So it's just like, okay, yeah, you're not even bothering with us anymore. You don't even care about us, where you don't even try to lie good anymore. Mad Million. He was sentenced 32 years on drugs and gun charges. First-time nonviolent offender, served 11 years. Who are we talking about here? I'm sorry, no context. You should do YouTube polls in the future. Interesting. DMT. Do you know anything about YouTube polls? Maybe we can look at that. I do X polls. X is... something's going on over there, guys. Something's going on at X, and I really don't care to get too deeply into it, but something weird is going on X, and it's definitely hitting my account. There's so much weird stuff going on in the background, and then you had, what's the guy's name? Nikita Beer, whoever's in charge, I guess, of content moderation. He made some announcement. They're always changing it. Here's the problem. The more they do, the worse it gets. It's like the more they try to tinker with the algorithm, the more they try to pick winners and losers and all the different weird things that they're doing, the worse it gets. It's like, it's very simple. One algorithm for all. That's all you have to do. Stop trying to rig the game. Stop trying to, have content moderation and like whatever these levels of censorship are. You think it's good, all this other weird stuff, cooking the books, like one algorithm for it all. That's all we need. Everybody should get the exact same X experience. And it can be catered to what they want based off of who they follow and what they like and what they repost and what they post. But as far as the algorithm is concerned, like delivering content to you, it should all be the same. The more they go into the back and start screwing with all the different systems and picking and choosing what gets seen and what doesn't, they're destroying it. They're destroying it, folks. It's a really unfortunate thing. And there's definitely like people behind the scenes that are trying to help people or hurt people, or it's all this weird stuff going on. Stop it. One algorithm for us all. You want to be a truly free speech platform? Do you want to be the platform of the people, which X has been? Then stop it. One algorithm for everybody. It's that simple. Every time I see Nikita Beer, whatever his name is, every time I see X make, oh, we got a new announcement of policy. We got a new announcement for this. You're just ruining it. You're ruining the app. Just let it be, man. Just let the people be on the app. It's all you got to do. They just can't do it, man. It's just like they can't leave it alone. We all know AI ends with extinction, but no one can stop it. It's pretty odd, isn't it? Let's go back to pagers. Well, that's kind of scary too. Yeah, I wouldn't do the pagers. That's a whole nother thing, huh? Yeah. Ivan, great commentary, great show today. Hell no to data centers. I'm a trucker, and we need all the unqualified foreign drivers out. Thank you for speaking facts. I'm with you on that. Thank you for tuning in the truck, by the way. I like that. 1994, 1894. You all right, bro? 1894? I don't know. Did you even have air conditioning back then? You're going to be kind of hot. I don't know. Project Mole Esther. Nice. Most corrupt administration in American history. You said moat. I'm going to assume most, but I don't know. There could have been a joke in there. Love Blackout Coffee /Owen. Thank you. Thank you, Shiloh. Blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Coupon code Owen for 20% off your first purchase. Thank you, guys. I think Lean uses purple drink. Yeah, that's a drink. I guess Lean is popularized by like rap culture. Purple drink. I'm white and I like grape soda. Kamikaze. All right, we got grape soda lovers in the chat now. Black people I know drink Sprite, Fishback posed with a Fanta grape soda. Fishback with the grape soda. Is it a Florida thing? Jordan Walker. Bro really said I was one stroke away live. You guys are just, enjoy, I guess. Enjoy it. If that's where your mind goes when I say it, then, have fun. What am I going to do? Jordan Walker. I wish you were the real Jordan Walker, leading the big leagues in home runs, Jordan Walker, giving the Cardinals fans something to cheer about, Jordan Walker. But no, you want to make me out to be some sort of a deviant. Elon Musk X, Starlink is alien level technology. If Starlink is alien, then Spectrum Cable is a dinosaur. Oh, every time I get close to pulling the trigger on Starlink, I stop. And that's kind of why. It's like I've got enough technology spying on me. I've got enough technology harvesting my data. And, it's just like, do I really need another? It's like, do I really need Starlink? Kind of want it. Co-create with me. Dearest Owen, thank you for brother Nathaniel Guest. When did we have bro Nathaniel on? It's been a while since we chatted. Cadaver Coffin. They are pushing for a data center here just outside of Wichita, Kansas. Didn't realize how bad they can be until your show today. Looking into it. Yes. Thank you. Very important stuff. Can't wait to see all the little kiddos that are going to dress up as doctors this Halloween. Going to start stocking up on crackers and grape juice to pass out. Yes. I thought it was a doctor. I mean, it's just ridiculous lie. It's like, okay, you already offended people by depicting yourself as Jesus. All right, whatever. Now you're going to lie to us about it? Now you've offended even more people. Just shut up, Trump. I'm serious. I just wish he would go away. It's like, just disappear. Just say, you know what? Country's great. I just need to get out of the way. We're cutting all foreign aid. We're cutting all foreign taxes. We're bringing all the troops home. And then I'm playing golf for 2 months. Enjoy. Bye. Be the greatest president ever. Savage. Do you notice how Matt Gaetz was in on this alien disclosure stuff recently, and then he congratulated Pam Bondi on her time and success in office when she got fired? Look, politics, people do weird things. They say weird things. Sometimes they'll be inexplicable or misunderstood. I still like Matt Gaetz. The reason he had an upper hand on the alien stuff is because he was in the committee, and I know he still talks to Anna Paulina Luna regularly. So that's that. Turkey invaded Cyprus 52 years ago, still illegally occupies a third, expanded into Syria, violates Greek airspace and maritime zones. Sound familiar? So, well, they're not allowed to do that? Or was it promised to them? Or what are we talking about here? I don't know. I just know that they're next on Israel's hit list. That's all I know. And it's not going to go so well, I would say. All right. Monday transmission in the books. Loaded Monday transmission. Maybe we'll have the announcement tomorrow. I'm getting a little pressure here. We have something before we sign off. Hold on. Real quick before we sign off. It's being reported. Breaking news. Iran offered to suspend enrichment of uranium for 5 years, and Trump rejected it, insisting on 20. Yeah, the whole thing is a lie. You've been lied to about this war. You've been lied to about everything involving this war. And at the end of the day, all that's going to happen is Trump is going to be proven to be a total liar, and Netanyahu is going to be proven to be a total liar. That's all that's going to happen. Competitive victimhood and dark triad research from Polly Fizz. Sup? I like that. So there you go. You've been lied to about this whole war, and it should piss you off. That does it for this transmission. 21-hour break. See you same time, same channel tomorrow.
My pretty countryside had been paved down the middle by a government intent on fucking up this whole country. The farms of Ohio.